What it do, baby boos? Welcome, gooners and goonettes, to our lovely live stream. Today is Wednesday, July 1st. Do you know who else lie? Not just July, but also Theist lie. So welcome to Theism Wednesdays, which was supposed to become Theism Thursdays, but I forgot and scheduled it for Wednesday again. So welcome to the stream, guys. We have a stacked panel today. Joining me to my left, my left, but stream's right. No. If you're watching it, it's the left. On my left is Jeff. On my right is Carbon. Carbon, is there? I should have mentioned this before. Is there any way you can get closer to the thing so you don't look like a small child compared to me and Jeff?
I can be in you guys' face. I got you.
You just look so small compared to us. And actually, I can make it so I can move your camera a little bit so you're a bit more centered.
Good stuff.
So you don't have to. We are here to argue with some theists. If you're a theist, why don't you call us up 219-327-8005. Let me tell you that number one more time so you have it. 219, okay? 219-327, okay? 327-80, okay? 05. We have a couple of topics on the board. Topic number one, convince us that God is real. You're never gonna be able to do it. Topic number two, convince us that the Christian God is good. Topic number three, convince us the Bible is true. Topic number four, convince us that Jesus was divine. And topic number five, convince us that the resurrection happened. All five of those topics are up for grabs today. If you feel like you want to debate any of those, then the number, one more time, for posterity is 219, what was it? 219-327-8005. So call us if you're interested in debate. If you want to support the show, guys, if you're like, ooh, I love the Jovan show, I want to support Jovan in his endeavors, then hey, you can send a super chat, much like Chase Firth, who sent a super chat before the stream even started and said, we are abandoned. Shout out abandoned chat. Chat, I just went to get milk, but I came back. To Stomp 10, who said, what's your opinion on Black Hebrew Israelites? Hilarious. They are genuinely the funniest people on the planet. And then William Mates, who said, a friend suddenly paid me some money they owed me after 3 years, and you sent it to me? Anyway, welcome in, Jeff. Welcome in, Carbon. How are you? You know, I still struggle calling Bradley Carbon because I called him Bradley for so long. But I'm like, I can't dead name him.
Well, I'm about to, because the whole time the intro was running, I was like, you know, this intro could also work for Carbon.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. I hope you haven't copyrighted that, Jovan.
Up to the point where the song says join Jovan.
I could just have my voice like
just cut that one
voiceover.
just take the last half
Bradley.
of it. You could be Bradley's baddie.
Guys, we are cooking with steam. I ended up getting my Dragon Ball figures and I got 2. So real quick, I'm just gonna show chat so that they can see. Trunks is there. But I got a Vegeta one. Let me up close. So you guys can see what I got. Don't look at my short. This is the Trunks one.
I'm looking.
But here's the issue that I didn't notice till I got it home. The fucking sword is missing the top piece. So someone's got to 3D print that for me. I also think his hair
really
had
cool,
lost color, but not in a bad way. Like, it looks cool. I think it's actually intended. But so I got it. But then there was a mall that I walked into that had like way more anime figures. And so I got a Vegeta. And this shit cracks.
Dude, that is dope.
This Vegeta goes hard as fuck, bro. So shout out to my new figures and whatnot. No, this shit was sitting there for a while. All right, boys, solicit callers. Damn, what y'all doing? Y'all both have been hosts. You know what to do.
We just waiting for people to call in. You know, I came to a realization that Dame Dash doesn't have any real friends.
Who?
Dame Dash, Rockefeller.
Who?
He don't have no real friends.
That's a name sounds familiar.
Him and Jay-Z co-founded Rockefeller. If you look it up, he put out a song trying to diss a bunch of people called Cheap Teeth, and nobody told him don't do that. That, like, I'll let y'all look it up on your time. I don't want to hear it ever again. But it's things like this to let you know whether somebody has any real friends in their life. Because your real friends will tell you, hey man, nah, that's not it. That's crazy. that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Guys, we're looking for Christians to give us a call today. 219-327-8005. YouTube, 258 of you in. We're just starting, so we're building the YouTube audience up. Hit the like button. There's only 83 likes right now. You know the drill. You know what it takes. You know what? I wonder if I could just make Carbon's video zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, zoom me in.
Your head is just so small.
This is like my stream size, so. Oh, you're doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Here, let me just get.
See, that's better.
Now. There we go.
That one's more. Yeah, now all our heads are somewhat similar sizes. Jeff is low though. It's okay.
Oh, you want me to?
Jeff, what is your statue of behind you? Oh, it's the Venom one from Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Somebody was selling that on Facebook Marketplace the other day. I was about to get it, but I was like, I'm not spending $200. That doesn't seem worth it for that.
There we go. So now maybe that's too high. There we go. Perfect.
Has YouTube given you the horizontal and vertical stream at the same time? Yes, but they haven't put out the tool where you can decide what it sees. So it's kind of useless. Because all people would see is the middle of my screen, which is just me. Like, it would be half of me and Jeff. So it's a useless tool.
So it tries to do it automatically?
Yeah. I have been told by YouTube, specifically by somebody at YouTube, that feature is coming where you'll be able to choose, like Twitch you can choose. Twitch you can choose what goes where when you're doing both. I've been told by YouTube that feature is coming, so. No, where is it coming? 219-327-8005. You know who else is coming? Not Christ. Because he's not real.
Yo.
I think I'm fully in the mythicist. I think I'm fully in the mythicist camp. Did I say
Did
champ?
I ever tell y'all why I'm not a mythicist?
No.
Why?
I assume I assume the reason is funny. Wait, we have to guess. We gotta play the guessing game. I think the reason you're not a mythicist is because I don't know how to loop it, but it has something to do with cannibalism.
I think there's a punchline there somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not smart enough to come up with it, but I think that's the reason. See, I did it again. Dead named him again. Carbon. What do you think is the reason Jeff is not a mythicist?
I can't think of any other reason other than the ones that people told me when they're on my streams. It's just that, we don't have any extra biblical sources, but I imagine it's a little bit more interesting than that.
Oh, see, I went the funny route. Okay.
I think to me, it's a waste of time. And I'll tell you why. Because like the divine stuff is really what we're talking.
Yeah.
But for me to say that there was an itinerant rabbi in first century Judea named Yeshu would be like you telling me that there's a dude in New Jersey that works at a pizza place and his name is Mike. It's wholly uninteresting for you to tell me that.
Well, when okay, I get what you're saying.
Like there's probably 100 Yeshus.
Yeah, you're saying it's trivial.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's like whoopee-doo. There's a There's a guy in Alabama named Zeke, and he owns a sheep. Ooh, great,
It's pronounced
awesome.
Ezek. Eel.
Ezekiel,
Baton Road.
the path of the righteous man, and all that.
I don't know. I find the history of this made up dude pretty interesting. So I like when people are like, Jesus fully existed, and I'm like, prove it. Prove that shit. Give me some hardcore proof, bro.
I grant them it every time, mainly because, well, actually, I'd grant them it because it is just kind of a trivial claim. I'm just like, okay, I don't have to expand my beliefs too much. Historically, I think it doesn't meet the standards, but I usually like almost always grant them that. I'm like, okay, guy named Jesus, he died. Cool. What's next?
Yeah, I mean, I'll grant it for the fun. You know?
Yeah.
I'll grant it for the fun. 219-327-8005. Call-in screeners are standing by. We have Winnie screening today, chat. William, thank you for the super chat. Said not Jovan showing his Dragon Balls. True. I need to buy replica Dragon Balls and put them somewhere. But it's always like, how do I display those adequately?
Here's how you don't display them is for free. You never display your balls for free. You always there's always an upcharge.
Carbon, you missed it on what is that? What's that dude's name that we were all on the live yesterday?
Heathen something.
Yeah.
You missed it on Heathen's live this morning was fucking so stupid.
I popped in for like half a second. What happened?
Bro, this dude, first of all, you know the worst theist on TikTok, Rasol or whatever his name is. Just arguably the worst motherfucker on the planet. So we were arguing about whether God was omnipotent, and I was like, I was so sick of this like bald dude. His name was like a lawyer or something. And I was like, this fucking bald ass motherfucker is pissing me off. So I just asked him, I'm like, yo, because we were talking about God's omnipotentness, like omniscience, whether he is an all-knowing motherfucker. And I go, hey, I asked the famous question, does God know what it's like to experience and enjoy the experience of taking a massive, violent cock up his ass? And he then got into this whole, like, God is all-knowing, but only knows empirical data and wouldn't know experiential data, which I'm like, that's not in the text.
Sense.
And also,
first of all,
that's not what all means. That was my biggest one. I'm like, so he's somnipotent? He knows some things sometimes. And then they were like, well, but then they said that he became Jesus to gain the knowledge of experience, to which I responded, so he does know what it's like to take the cock up his ass. He just didn't know until after he became Jesus.
Wait, hold on. So like when he became Jesus, did he gain the knowledge of the experience that Jesus had? Like, does he not know what it's like to put a disc in a PS2?
According to them, no. He'd have no idea.
He does not know what it's like to stand in line waiting for. He doesn't know how to pre-order GTA 6. He doesn't know anything about that.
Did you pre-order GTA 6?
Not yet, but I'm gonna.
I will be.
I've pre-ordered. I'm not gonna pre-order. I'm just gonna buy it. Like, I don't pre-order. I don't pre-order games in the digital world. I don't get anything. I don't want your stupid little cosmetics. I'll just buy the game when it comes out.
My wife is hopefully not listening. The only reason I didn't pre-order is because the only thing available right now is digital, and I don't want to buy the game twice. So it's like when you ask me what's
available forever once the PS6 comes out.
Well, look, the statue I have back here, the Spider-Man statue, that's because I had to buy Spider-Man 2 twice. I'm not trying to do that with GTA 6. So if they have a collector's edition for that, I'll consider it, maybe. But I don't want to like have the game pre-ordered and then be like, but now you got this.
Take perfect. They're good for that too, because I think PlayStation just came out like literally like less than 12 hours ago.
Today.
They're like, okay, was it today? Yeah, they were like 2027 January. Any new games, no physical copies.
Yeah, it's all going to be digital, which I do all digital now anyway, but I do think it is worse for the consumer to have strictly digital. It's way worse for the consumer.
I think it was 2028, but yeah,
2028,
the writing's on the wall. It sucks. I was talking to my brother about this. Like, it sucks. It's terrible, but that's where we're at.
Guys, get them likes up on YouTube so we can hit that algorithm a bit more. Let's try to get some theists in here to give us a call. Can Jeff and Carbon see the Twitch chat if they're logged on to Twitch? Probably.
I'm on YouTube. I'm about to send you some likes over on YouTube.
You can only send one.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, those hearts
like TikTok.
Yeah,
I've never been on the watching side on YouTube. I've always been streaming.
Yeah, the hearts aren't likes. You have to like click the 3 dots.
It's like a like that'll show up on the VOD.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's what you got to do, and that ups the Ali G rhythm. Guys, I want to talk to theists today. That's what's most important to me. To talk to theists today of all days. 219-327-8005. I'll even not listen if you call in and you're like, hey, I don't want to 3v1. You can choose one of us. Choose your fighter. What's the smash? Like choose your competitor. I want someone to code me a browser-based fighting game where it's me and all my co-hosts that they can play on my website, jovanbradley.com. Yeah,
how to make
that'd be sick, wouldn't it?
Too.
That'd be sick, wouldn't it?
But would it be like a Street Fighter type fighting game, a Smash type fighting game,
like early Street Fighter, early Mortal Kombat? You know,
what about like Rampage? And you're like going through the RNC, right?
I feel like I'd get put on a list for that.
Yeah, probably.
I did my TSA pre-check application the other day, and I'm just sitting there like, hope they don't come back and be like, no. But now the government has my fingerprints.
Right.
However, they did already because I've worked in education, so the government already has my fingerprints.
Yeah, they definitely have mine.
Yeah. They've got probably more than that. They probably have your DNA.
They got my DNA. They got my soul. Everything. That's what the military does, guys.
Hey, Christians, how come you guys believe in a fake book? Why is that?
And why don't you want to tell us about it?
What's the we gotta really get up in the YouTube algorithm. We're still like sitting low, only 340 viewers right now. Twitch, if you're watching on Twitch, I need you to go pull double duty and go also watch on YouTube. There's not a lot of you on Twitch either. It might be the time of day. I usually don't go live at 5 p.m.
We got some people in the chat like this. Like they don't want to call in. They're just like chilling in the chat.
Yeah, let's run a poll over on YouTube to talk to Christians. Let's say, do you believe God is all good? Yes or no? Give us a call if your answer is yes. And let us prove to you that the answer is no, actually. He's a sick and twisted SOB.
Yeah, it's a very simple argument, okay? What a good person would do is stop gratuitous rape. I think we can all agree with that, right? Stopping gratuitous rape is a good thing. What does good mean?
True.
Well, apparently it's consistent with God's nature. But God's nature does not compel him to stop those. So what's going on here? Tell us. I want to know.
I want the apologetics.
Why does God not do the good thing?
To all of y'all that are answering yes, you should also be dialing that phone.
Yeah, that's 5% of people answering yes. Come on, guys. I promised you guys, you can have a 1v1. Choose whichever of us you want. Who pick your fighter? Do you want me? Do you want Jeff? Do you want Carbon? Do you want a sandwich? Hick, I want to make cookies.
I was gonna say I want a sandwich, but I have a Panera sandwich waiting for me.
Jeff, did you see Crumble's new cookie this week?
Nah.
They have a cornbread cookie.
Cornbread.
Here's the question. Is it no. Did they release it just cuz? Please tell me they released it just cuz.
It's only.
I don't know,
in
but
Atlanta.
I personally, it's only in Atlanta. It's crazy. I personally think they missed an opportunity releasing it on Juneteenth. That's all I'm gonna say.
That was gonna be my question. Did they release it because of like, hey, here's a happy belated Juneteenth. Here's a cornbread cookie.
No, it's for
And
America's birthday, man.
And we have a watermelon smoothie for y'all.
Cornbread. The cornbread cookie is made out of Wait, huh? Okay, I don't understand that joke. Guys, 219. As soon as we get our first call, you can also call for an office hours if you have like a theist related question you want to ask us. You can call for that too. Taylor, thank you for the Venmo. Said if he's real, he'd show me his omnipotitties.
I really like when they
omnipotitties. Get it?
The pronouns thing when it comes to God too. It's like, well, God is a he because he has a man nature. I'm like, is he male? Well, he has a masculine nature. I'm like, well, I don't know what you mean by masculine nature under your view if you don't mean by male, because it seems like every time somebody's male, you just want to call them he, but you're refusing to call somebody he if they're not male. So does God have like a gigantic galactic dick? I don't understand. Right? How big is it? That's what I want to know.
Just
bigger,
swinging
however
through the
big
cosmos.
you think it is, it's bigger. Could God create a dick that's too girthy that for even him to suck?
Just Mary rolling around Judea in a wheelchair.
Meg, to answer your question, I do not have a P.O. box yet. At some point, I will. I still don't have one yet. Did y'all see those two people that climbed the Empire State Building today?
I just saw pictures of that.
Then homie proposed to his girl on the top of the Empire State Building. Ain't none of y'all winning. It was a proposal mixed with a protest. Ain't none of y'all winning. The bar has been set too high for all the rest of y'all. The bar's been set too high.
On the moon, next one. That's the only way to top
SpaceX.
Yeah.
On the moon during an eclipse. Look, our love is so bright, we're causing blindness.
I just finished Carbon. I just finished Project Hail Mary, the book.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
It's a great movie.
Golly. That shit really go hard.
I think he's writing a sequel.
Do I want a sequel?
Because I mean, there's a couple ways I think the sequel could go, but the author, he explicitly said that he left some information out of the first book in hopes of a sequel. Like, for example, how the two other people died that was on the ship with them. It was never really clear what caused it.
I thought they just died from the coma thing because everybody was at risk of dying.
He never explicitly says so that way he can leave that open for them.
I don't need a sequel for that. If I was gonna get a sequel, I'd want to know like what's happening on Earth after.
Well, because
the book leaves it. Oh, by the way, guys, before I forget, movie night Friday in the Discord, we're gonna be watching Obsession, 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to watch Obsession with us in Discord, join the Discord to watch the movie. I might have to add Project Hail Mary on the movie watch list soon because that's also, I loved that movie. Loved it. And it's why I read the book.
I gotta catch up to y'all because I ain't watched none of this. But I do have the book on my list. So
I love and every Andy Weir audiobook goes hard because I do audiobooks because I'm just like, I ain't got the time to sit and read, but I have the time to sit and listen. So every Andy Weir audiobook so far has been nothing but hits. But yeah, no, it's great. It's a great movie.
What was it? The one where they're on the moon? I never read that one. No.
The Martian?
No, that's on the Mars, on the moon. Was it Artemis?
He has more than 2 books?
Yeah. It's like 3 or 4 books. One is where they're on a moon base. I never read that one.
Huh?
I think that was before The Martian, or maybe it was after The Martian.
Never read it.
Yeah, but I do want to see Rocky and Grace just go out and maybe they find other solar systems with life and they want to save them too. That'd be cool.
I love when people come into the YouTube chat and then drop a slur and then get insta muted by the auto mod, because it's got to take the wind out of their sails to have it just instantly muted, like nobody sees it. It's got to just like deflate. Let's take this office hours call and we'll see if we can drum up some calls while we do it. Coming up to stream is Michaela with an office hours call. So Michaela from Georgia. Michaela, hello, if you can hear us, can you please just give us your age and pronouns? Great. Now, Michaela, you had a question for us. What was your question?
But typically,
sorry, just really quick, Michaela, I was an
Yeah.
idiot and left you muted. Just so I can recap, you're calling in to ask about specifically the Bible verse Numbers 31:17-18. Just so the chat knows what you were talking about, because I do that where I forget to unmute the browser at the start of calls.
No worries.
Right, go ahead. Continue.
Yes, sir. So the whole purpose of my call. Oh yeah, I use. I don't know if you heard, but I use they them pronouns. I'm 31 years old. And basically, the gist of my question is, the whole purpose of this call is to kind of get advice from you on when you debate Numbers 31, 17, 18 on the context of what's going on. Typically, like, what's typically your debate plan, and how do you go about debating that with theists?
So I know that when I do it, I tend to take it from the stance of Moses did it and God allowed Moses to do it. And then like, so God doesn't expressly in the text tell Moses kill everybody. Well, he doesn't tell Moses to go ham. Like when Moses says kill every male, every little one, kill anything that breathes, right? That, and then like keep all the virgin children, women alive for yourself. God doesn't technically tell Moses to do that, but he co-signs it when Moses goes to God and God goes, now split all those virgin women up and divide the spoils. And that's God co-signing it. So I like to take it on the, at least when I debated, that God co-signs genocide, sex slavery, child brides, rape, murder, all those fun things.
Cool. That sounds good.
And the others can answer if they the other gentleman on the panel can answer too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like you can just infer from like other verses as well. So you have Deuteronomy 21:10, right? That's where you can take a captive woman, and you also have 1 Samuel 15:3, where God does explicitly commands the entire genocide of all the Amalekites, including their children, and for some reason their sheep and their donkeys too, right? So you can take those two verses in conjunct with Numbers 31, because Numbers 31, the biggest objection, if you're a smart Christian, the biggest objection is, well, God didn't say this was Moses, right? And you'd be like, well, this is consistent with God's nature, because in Deuteronomy 21:10, he says you could take captive women and force them into marriage and rape them. And then Numbers, 1 Samuel 15:3, as well as a few other verses, he explicitly commands for the unaliving of these children and entire populations. So how would Numbers 31 not be consistent with that, right? And that's usually, they can never really give a good response to that, in my experience.
One thing I like to do is put the person in that army, because if you're going to tell me that God didn't make the command and it was just Moses and God wasn't there, cool. So now we're in a spot where you're supposed to sort out these women and try to figure out which one of them are virgins. And so I typically say something like, just imagine for yourself what you would have to do in that time. So this is BCE, to figure out which one of these people are virgins and which ones are not. And you're in this army being commanded to do this. at what point do you get off the bus? Like, do you go along with everything in this chapter, or at what point do you say, wait a minute, I'm not inspecting little girls, right? And so that kind of puts them in a place where they either have to, like, God signed off on it, so they either have to sign off on it themselves that they're going to do it, or they have to just come to the realization that this might not be the best thing to sign off on. You know, I might have to, like, actually out loud say this some bullshit.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That makes a lot of sense because just long story short, I had a debate recently, and I talked about this. I believe I did a good job, but maybe I guess my quick question is, would it be fair to compare the Israelites during this time period to what Muhammad did with Aisha?
Sorry, can you guys tell that the lights on my headphones are lighting up when you guys speak? I don't think you can. That's crazy. How did
It
I do
responds
that?
to our voice.
I don't like that setting. How did I turn that setting on?
That's cool. It responds to your voice.
Sorry.
Yeah, I kind of would compare them. That's yeah, you'll notice a lot when, especially like atheists debate Christians, versus when atheists debate like like certain Muslims. When they debate Muslims, usually the Aisha one is like the main thing that they go to. But like when it comes to like debating Christians, there's a lot of different other. So you might not see it, but like I would compare the two specifically when it comes to Numbers 31. I mean, you don't even have to use the Old Testament. You can use the New Testament, right? God himself, in my opinion, raped Mary, right, who was a teenager, right? So it's not even that a prophet, like, some divine figure or some anointed figure in Christianity raped the child. It was the creator of the universe raped the child in order to get like a son for some reason. Like, to me, that's just as morally reprehensible.
A son that he could just kill later.
Yeah. Oh, it's also him, right? It's him. So he raped his own mother to have himself like it.
I would caution against trying to do a comparison to say like this one's worse than the other. I would say make a comparison to just say like this is just a continuation. Like this is what the religion is. This is they just hate women.
Totally, absolutely. Yeah, that does help my question. Just super quickly, can I show you guys this? Now, there's a separate Bible verse I just want to get your opinion on. I'll be down, I'll make it real quick. So this is a completely different subject as well. But basically, it's Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, Simeon Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Menon, which had been brought up with Hariah, Antipas, and Saul. So that saying that the guy I was debating against, we were talking about something else. And, this guy, he believed that the ancient Israelites were black. And in this verse, it says Simeon Niger. So he's trying to say that Niger means black in Latin, which my understanding, it means black and also means dark haired. But his argument was that the N word, the hard R N word, is in the Bible as Niger. And Simeon, the Israelite, he was being described as Niger, which is black. So I kind of just I guess I get your opinion on that, and I'll be all.
Yeah, I've heard that scholars do translate that to black. That's all I've heard about that. I haven't heard too much about that verse, but that is the main argument, is that historical scholars agree that that's what that translates to, which obviously I don't know like the history of the naming of the actual country of that name, if that's related, but insofar as I've heard about it, I heard that that's a general consensus among scholars.
Okay.
I want to know, why does it, like, even if I was to say, sure, why does it matter?
Probably because a lot of Christians don't want Jesus to be black, and they want him to be at least somewhat closer to white, probably.
But like even for like black people who think that black people are Israelites.
Yeah.
Why does it matter? Like,
Good question.
because if you're saying that black people are the chosen people and I have to be okay with higher unemployment for black people, I have to be okay with a higher maternal mortality rate, I have to be okay with all the disparities, I'm not cool with that. Like, hey, if it was good enough for you to go into Egypt, go in now, fix it now, right? I don't want to wait for what happened, Jovan.
I didn't know they did this.
Oh,
He's having fun over there.
Now you're partying.
I've had these headphones for 3 years. Okay, I fixed it. Okay, continue.
But yeah, like if it's not doing anything good for black people now, if it's not feeding people, I say this all the time. If your plans are not feeding people, I do not care. Like, I don't care. If you're just going to tell me that, hey, we're chosen people and we're just meant to suffer, that doesn't help me at all. I'm not going to stand by and watch people starve.
Absolutely. I agree 100%, you know, even on myself. This will be my last comment, but, you know, I'm trying to get into, like, debate content because I've been debating a lot of Hebrew Israelites. I've been hearing some of the most wild, you know, they will tell you that King James, a man who had black people enslaved in his colonies, and a man, you know, I don't need to get into King James history, but they will tell you that King James was a black man. And they would tell you that with the most serious tone, like they call him the swarthy king, right? They genuinely King James was a black man. And I guess for me, I'm just trying to do something because, you know, at least in my area, I've been seeing an increase in black Hebrew Israelites. And their rhetoric is dangerous.
They're just so funny, though. They're so funny. Like, what do you mean black people were the original Israelites? Like, that doesn't even make sense geographically. It's funny.
Like a better version of Westboro Baptist Church.
They hit you with that Dr. Umar, bro. It's so funny. But Michaela, thank you so much for calling in with your question, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, friend.
Absolutely. You too, friend. Take care.
No problem. I've decided I'm gonna stop releasing the office hours calls because you guys don't watch them. You like the debates, you like the pocket debates. Y'all do not click on the office hours calls, which I think sucks because I think they're a great educational opportunity. But like slowly I'm realizing how much y'all love the blood sport or the video essays. Those are the only things y'all click on. Shout out to the Lin-Manuel Miranda video essay being at 75K views, chat. It's my 3rd most popular video. So thank you for watching that one.
Love the conflict. I love the tension.
Right. Let's bring up our next caller. I heard it once. I don't need to hear it again. Y'all should watch all my videos. Even if you've seen the call, put it on mute. The views help me. Like, just put it on mute for me in the background, please. That's all I ask. Did I have the music playing that whole last call?
Yeah, but it was soothing.
Yeah, but
low-key it helps.
It fits with the office hours. It probably wouldn't fit with the debates, but it definitely fits.
No, it wouldn't fit with the debates. It's also, you got to be careful of that because there is a track in this. I play from the Epidemic playlist, the Epidemic Sounds playlist on Spotify. And one of the songs on that playlist is no longer a free thing. And I only know because when my stream ended yesterday, I got a notice that like your stream can't be monetized because of this one specific song. And I'm like, okay, so just cut that song out. Auto do it.
Sometimes I play my own songs that I made in GarageBand and I get flagged. Like, I don't know what it is.
Are you using like any of the GarageBand like pre-done?
No, sometimes I make my own songs and my own sounds itself, like in Logic, sometimes in Audacity. I'm like, I get flagged. I'm like, whose song is this? It's my song. I made it.
Oh damn. Let's bring up our next caller. Coming up to stream, we have Gayer, I don't. You'll tell us how to pronounce it. Calling from Illinois to talk to us about topic number 1, God being real. Caller, how do you pronounce your name?
The name is Geyer. Hello.
Geyer. Okay, no problem. I like that name. Geyer. Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
26, and my pronouns are they, it, either or. It doesn't matter what you call me.
No problem. Geyer, we are 3 black atheists, and we don't believe in a God. Can you convince us that God is real?
Okay. Well, I would like to start off on the premise that all gods are real, and the Christian God is one of them, and he is not omnibenevolent, but everything else is true.
Well, you're gonna have a tough hill to climb to prove to us that all gods are real. But what's the
Absolutely.
evidence you have for it?
Evidence. Are we not taking personal truth into the matter currently? We're talking about like
No.
material, physical evidence
Not
currently.
yeah, not. I wouldn't
in
take
the
personal.
scientific materialist sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't take personal stories for a universal claim like there is a God. You know.
All right, understandable. Ooh, damn. Well, personal truth, I unfortunately believe, weaves into the material as a pagan.
What is personal truth?
Personal truth. It's basically, how do I describe this other than like a connection through? I guess you could put it as your imagination, right? Like if you want to use like really like the bare bones like scientific like materialist explanation for it would just be your imagination.
So
and the power of imagination is incredible because without it we wouldn't have technology, we wouldn't have well, that's going to be my main claim. Without imagination we wouldn't have technology.
I don't know though how we get from that's like trying to get from like New York to California, but skipping all the states in between. Like I don't know how we get from like imagination to God.
I'll walk my points forward. Don't worry. So, where do I start? So much information to compile. Sorry, 1 second. It's also very hot out. I apologize. I'm not sure if y'all are feeling the heat here. It's in the Midwest. It's very, very warm. So I'm not quite thinking clearly.
Are you saying that
I'll
it's
try my
real
best.
as a concept? Is that what you're saying? Are you just saying it's real as a concept, as I mean it does in fact exist in people's minds? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's very true within people's minds. And these concepts create actual permutations through reality.
Oh,
like
a tulpa?
Somebody
saying God's
a
tulpa?
Let's say somebody does adopt these beliefs of yes. Let's just use the Christian God as an example, or the Jewish God, or the Muslim God. Same God, basically, just different interpretations of ethics, right? And so, if you were to believe that the Christian God were to be real, you would be doing things in his name, thus creating an act in his. It would be, yeah, you would be doing it in his name, therefore giving him actual power over reality itself. I'm making the belief that if enough people believe in it, it is true.
So when those girls took that other girl into the woods and stabbed her because Slenderman told them so, does that mean Slenderman is real?
I would say so, yes. Following that logically consistently, and I would say yes.
Yeah, so I think the problem with that is like you can have two different people who believe contradictory propositions, right? Like they imagine that the Christian God does exist, and another imagines that the Christian God does not exist, right? And then you're committed to the view, under this view, you're committed to the view that it both is and is not the case that the Christian God exists, which is a contradiction. So I don't think that belief can be true.
Wait, where was the contradiction? I didn't follow.
Well, if enough people believe it, then it's true and it's permeated throughout reality. Well, there's at least two people in the world who believe the opposite of each other, right? And the opposite of each other can't both be true, permeating throughout reality. It can't be the case that the Slender Man person exists and permeates through reality, and he doesn't exist and permeates through reality in the same sense. That'd just be a contradiction.
Also, with the technology example,
I'm saying that these people are using it. Sorry, I'll let you continue. My bad.
Yeah, just like with the technology example, it's true that some people will have something that they imagine before they invent something, but that doesn't bypass reality, right? Like if I wanted to make
it doesn't overcome
keyboard,
it doesn't overcome the laws of material. True.
Yeah, like if I imagined a keyboard made of lava, like I can't and that it's usable, but that's not really going to work just because I can imagine it, right?
Oh, you mean like hot lava or like cooled lava?
Yeah, hot lava.
Hot lava. Gotcha.
Hot lava that stays hot forever. Like that's
fair.
not going to be at Best Buy next week. Like no matter how much I imagine it, and it doesn't matter how many people imagine it, you're not going to have a hot lava keyboard. Like that's not a thing.
Like, okay, here's a thought experiment, right? Oh, go ahead, Jovan.
No, you go ahead. I'm
okay,
still
imagine
stuck on
enough
Slenderman
people, like, here's a hypothetical. Imagine enough people believe in a machine that destroys any shoe that can ever be created. Just enough people believe it, right? It's just that's what they're imagining, right? This machine, whenever there's any shoe that, comes into existence in the world, right? Doesn't matter where in the universe, it teleports and it goes through the machine and destroys it, right? Instantly, like that, right? And then you have enough people who believe in shoes. They believe that, you walk around in shoes all the time, right? Both of those can't be true at the same time, right?
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, so if that view is true, I mean, one of those beliefs have to be true or both of them have to be false. And if one of them is true, then the view that you're giving is false. And if both of them are false,
but is paradox?
But
how is paradox also not how is paradox not also a real thing?
Well, when you say real, like, how is a paradox not a real thing? It sounds like you're asking, how can it be the case that a perfectly efficacious shoe destroying machine can exist and there still be shoes, right? That's just a contradiction. By definition, it can't be real.
Oh, so hold on. I need to hear the thought experiment back again. It instantaneously destroys all shoes.
Yeah, any shoe in all the reality that comes into existence the second it's made, right? It teleports into this machine and gets destroyed, right? You can't ever wear them because the picosecond it's made, right? And then you have enough people thinking, I wear shoes all the time, right? Now, one of those has to be true, or not. Or both of them have to be false, right? They can't both be true at the same time. That's what I'm saying.
Very well. I understand that does defeat my argument, unfortunately. I apologize. Well, y'all have a good one. Take care.
All right, you too.
I don't think I have any more ammunition, unfortunately. It's just using personal truth as a living agent is the best one I got so far.
Okay, no problem.
Take care. Have a good one.
You as well.
Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
They lost me with that Slender Man is a real thing. I was like, huh? The Slender Mans?
There's a Slenderita too. There's a woman version of it. There's like a whole video game series on it. Slenderita, I think her name is.
Bradley be out here playing what's that grandma runaway game?
Yeah. I watched a video on that yesterday.
Crazy.
That call had me at imagination.
Imagination. You ever played Infinite Pizza? Yo, Infinite Pizza is crazy. Infinite Pizza go hard. I should download Infinite Pizza.
A restaurant game?
No, it's weird.
Oh shit.
It's weird. It's weird. I wonder if you can play it in the browser. Nah, I don't think you can play it on the browser. That would have been fun. Guys, 219-327-8005. Where are the theists today? Y'all can't handle 3 black atheists? That's too much for you? Man, you know what they say. If you can't defend your God, he must not exist.
Oh, this is like Zeno's paradox.
They should defend their...
Maybe.
I thought there was a verse that be ready to defend your faith at all times.
Yeah, it's 1 Peter 15. No, 1 Peter, is it 15? Oh, 3:15.
3 Peter 8H5296175.
Ludicrous 3:15. Thou shalt moveth bitches. Get out the way. So, yeah.
219-327-8005. That's the number to call in on any of the topics. What chat, which topic do you hope the Christians call in about the most? Topic 1 through 5. Drop it in the chat. Which topic do you want them to call about the most?
In your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you, to give the reason for the faith that you hope you have. But do this with gentleness and respect.
Most people are saying 2. I agree. I hope people call about number 2 as well. JP Bishy, thank you for the super chat, said 6 Star Wars jams, Carbon. Ask Jovan about Star Wars.
Oh, no.
What about Star Wars? I have the most perfect Star Wars takes of all time.
Weren't we just talking about Star Wars?
Literally last stream, I think, yeah.
Well,
oh no, me and you were just talking about it on the phone the other day, Jeff. We forgot that we had like an hour-long conversation on the phone about Star Wars.
Just about Star Wars.
I think they're referencing like maybe I'm not sure. I think they're referencing my streams because I always have like Star Wars lo-fi playing in the background on my streams. Like literally almost every stream.
If God was real, could he make a Death Star that was 2 butts? I lost it. I lost it. It was not about a Death Star too big and moon. Because you know I said that's no moon.
Ah.
All right. I'm just gonna see myself out. Oh yeah, Supergirl. For anybody wondering, I saw Supergirl last night. I give it a 7. 7.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. There's some world building stuff that I don't like that they did. But it's also stuff that exists in the comics, so I can't be too upset about it. Like, spoiler alert, every bad guy in DC being able to find kryptonite. Like, how much fucking kryptonite is there? But, you know, I thought it was a 7. I was like, I give this a 7. I didn't think the needle drop moment everybody was shitting on was that bad. I think people are just don't like women, personally. Like, I was like, this movie's fine. It's better than most of what the MCU has done lately, so I have no issues here.
Comic book fans are eaten.
No, truly. When will cowards adopt the pink kryptonite? That'd be crazy. Billy, thank you for the Venmo. I would love to know your Star Wars takes. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. My Star Wars takes are mind-bendingly correct. Here's my biggest Star Wars take. Let's stop focusing on the Skywalkers. I'm so sick of the Skywalkers. This one family, and truthfully, it's one dude. This one guy ruined the galaxy for like most people. There's a whole planet's worth of kryptonite, Jovan. That's still too many people have kryptonite. I don't know what to tell you. Too many people have it. Remember, we are going to watch Obsession in the Discord Friday. Make sure you guys are joining the Discord if you are a member here. Go ahead.
I refuse to believe that the planet Krypton in its entirety became radiated when it exploded.
No, they say in this movie, they actually say that kryptonite was just a metal that was, so the way they describe it is it was like a mineral that was buried in like deep within the planet's core, and it like infected the soil of the planet. And that's kind of how they do it here, but it still kind of doesn't make sense. Like that there's this rock that instantly irradiate, like not just takes away Superman. I like kryptonite when it takes away their powers. I don't like it as much when it's poisonous to them. I like kryptonite when it's like, hey, when I'm around kryptonite, I just lose my power. But when kryptonite physically poisons them, I'm like, all right, this rock shouldn't be radioactive to just like one species. It should probably be radioactive to everybody. Although I guess it kind of is because it gave Lex Luthor cancer.
Yeah.
219-327-8005. Forgot my Rubik's Cube. I bought a Rubik's Cube to fidget with.
Look, if you really believe this stuff, there's 3 people here whose souls, if those exist, you can save. You can mark them at the end and say, look what I did. I saved 3 souls just by tackling topic number 1.
How many souls are in your wallet? Isn't that a no? What am I?
So I have 3 in 1.
God, I hate the Trinity so much, dude. So stupid. The Trinity is the worst patch Christianity ever like implemented.
It's just like, it's so obviously false. It's just like a straightforward logical contradiction. So you have to like update, you have to like change what the word is means, right? You have to change, like, it's clearly not what the original authors of Nicene Creed or any of those people like meant, right? They didn't ask for all these, like this philosophical jargon where you're using the word is in like a completely alien way that nobody thought of. It's just ridiculous.
Guys, someone dunked on us on YouTube. They said no atheists in the foxhole. What a dunk. God,
I never
damn,
understood that.
What a
Like,
dunk.
yeah, if you're saying that people believe God for rational reasons, yeah, I agree. Right. The fact that you're about to die is not a reason to believe that God exists. Right. So if an atheist gets scared and starts believing in God, okay, that's an irrational reason to believe in God.
There's no atheists in the foxhole. You know where else there are no atheists? In heaven, because it doesn't exist. Fucking nailed it. God.
Or in hell.
Or in hell. You know, Jeff is right there. There's no atheists in hell, because hell also does not exist.
Well, if Romans 1 is true, then there are no atheists, period, because everybody just believes that their God exists.
Oh shit. Yo, you might be
It's fun talking to those people, right? They're like, you know God exists, you're just suppressing his truth. And you know it's the Christian God, you're suppressing his truth. Well, I don't even know what that means.
How did they get so correct? David, thank you for the Venmo, said the problem with kryptonite is that it has itself become a trope since Superman has existed since the 30s. Also, I'm a combat vet and added $5 to shoot. That's a terrible place for this to cut that message off. $5 to shoot down that foxhole bullshit as I was typing this. True atheists are liars and suppressing their deep downsies.
Yeah, the precepts are always.
But notice that none of them can call. It's so crazy. We have a call screening right now, but notice how none of the conservatives can call. Or Christians. We're not talking to conservative. Well, that probably is a circle. It's probably mostly a circle.
If that's true and they can just kind of precept their way into knowing my internal thoughts, I got a game that they're gonna love. It's the magic trick game. So I open up my notepad. I write 8 random numbers. They have access to my mind, so they can tell us the 8 random numbers. And then I flip my iPad over and I go, ta-da! And then people shower us with money because people love magic tricks. So just be like, there you go. Since the Holy Spirit leads you in all truth and God is the necessary precondition for knowledge, you don't have to like empirical your way into. You can just pray and you get the
And
8
they'll just
numbers.
be like, God cannot be tested.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, hold on. If God is the necessary precondition for knowledge, and he's granting you this knowledge, right? But then you say he cannot be tested, so he can't grant you the knowledge, then you can't know anything either.
True. Okay. I get what you're saying. That took me a second. All right. We finally got a call. Beautiful. Seems like we've been callless all stream, but we finally got somebody. All right. Coming up next to stream is Kato from New Jersey calling to talk about topic number 2, God being good. I think that's how he pronounces his name. Kato, if you can hear me, please provide me your age and pronouns.
Kato.
Kato.
I'm back, Jovan.
Okay,
How you
Kato.
doing?
Have we talked before?
Yeah, we did.
Oh. I mean, I talked to hundreds of people. You'd have to be more specific.
Okay. Okay. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I want to discuss if God is good. I mean, that God is good.
Okay, well, we don't believe God is good. What evidence do you have that he is? Oh, wait, is this Andrew from New Jersey? Wait, dead ass chat? Is this Andrew is this Bandrew?
Yeah, that is me.
This is Bandrew. Oh my God. Well, chat,
I missed you, Jovan. I missed you, man.
Andrew.
What
do we do? Chat, do we take Andrew from New Jersey? He's banned on the line. Is he banned here? I don't remember if I've banned Andrew over here, but I know he's banned on the line. Yeah, he's banned on the line. Like he's banned like for
No, I'm not banned from Jimmy. He just wants a high payment.
True. Here's my thing. Carbon and Jeff have never talked or never had to suffer through Bandrew. Talk is a very generous word. So part of me wants to allow them the conversation because they've never had a chance to experience Bandrew. I'm gonna let it rock.
A lot of people on the line like me though, Jovan. To be fair, I got a lot of people that do like me on the line.
No, they don't.
In the same way God
in the comments, yeah.
No, they don't. I'm gonna let it rock. And then Sheevan chat is like, no, we don't. I'm gonna let it rock. And Andrew, you are on a super fucking short leash. Just an FYI,
Yeah, of course. I know. I know. Yeah.
All right. Well.
All right. Yeah, I'll talk to the other two.
You can have this conversation with these two because I've talked to you multiple times and don't need to again.
Yeah. Sure. What reasons do you have that God is good?
All right. So God is good because he himself says he's good. Like, so what is wrong with that explanation?
All right. So God is good. I'm going to write this down. God is good because he says he's good.
Is that like a general principle that you hold? Like if entity X says they are good, then they are good?
Yeah, if God says he's good, then he's good.
No, listen to only if God said he's good, or anybody says they're good, then they're good.
Yeah, God specific.
Yeah, only God.
Yeah, only God.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna write this argument out, and you tell me if this is a good representation. So I got premise 1: if God says he's good, then he's good, right? Premise 2: God says he's good. Conclusion: therefore, God is good. Is that a good representation?
If God is good, God is good.
Yeah. If God says he's good. Wait, hold on. Premise 1: if God says that he's good, then he's good, right? It's a conditional statement. Premise 2: God does say that he's good. Conclusion: therefore, God is good.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. All right. We're going to write that down.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go premise by premise. Jeff, you want to take it or you want me to?
Well, no, you go ahead. Go ahead. I like where this is going.
Okay. Okay. We'll start with premise 1. Premise 1, remember, is if God says that he's good, then he's good. What's your reasons for that? Believing that?
No, because in the Bible, that's what he claims about himself.
Yeah,
That's
we're
my
granting that.
that's
That's
my
just
reason for believing it.
So you're just restating premise one, right? Let's just grant that the Bible is true for
Yeah,
the sake
and
of argument, right? Because we're not at premise two. Premise two is you establishing that he did actually say that, right? Right now we're
yeah.
dealing with if he says he's good, then we can infer from that that he's good. Why believe that?
Oh, because he blessed the Israelites. He blesses people all throughout the Bible.
Okay, so because what does bless mean again? Just like makes wealthy or something?
Like he saved his people from the Egyptians. He saves his people from, he retaliates against enemy nations that's trying to kill the Israelites. He brings down punishment amongst people who goes against him, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, there's a few routes that we can go. It sounds like you have an external standard of goodness to God that you're appealing to, which is for some reason you think like blessing people in and of itself is a good thing, whether independent of God. But I would like to, just like there's a straightforward rebuttal here, which is 1 Samuel 15:3. You said that he punishes people on the basis of their wrongdoing. But in 1 Samuel 15:3, he punishes children and infants and newborns and, animals as well. So I guess the question I'll ask is, did those children deserve to be unalived by the Israelites? Can I say killed on here, or is it like
I've been meaning
Bro,
to
you
say
can
this.
say you can say quite
all
literally
the-
anything. Yeah.
all right?
I was about to tell it to you when you said
what-
great before.
Oh, okay. All right. So 1 Samuel 15:3, did those children deserve to be killed by the Israelites under God's command?
Well, what was the battle for? I'm not familiar. I'm not that familiar with 1
I'll
Samuel
read it out.
15. Why did
fine.
he order this?
I'll read it out. I got you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty short verse. All right. It says we're gonna start from the top. It's literally three sentences.
Start at verse 1 because it also tells you why.
Samuel said to Saul, I am the one the Lord sent to anoint you king over his people of Israel. So listen now to the message from the Lord. This is what the Lord Almighty says, quote, I will punish the Amalekites for what they did to Israel when they waylaid them as they came up from Egypt. Now go attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death the men, the women, the children, the infants, the cattle, the sheep, the camels, and donkeys, unquote. So that's what God commanded. And so obviously he's punishing an entire group of people based off of what their ancestor did. I think it was about 400 years ago, if you look at the ancient Near East. So yeah, so did those children deserve that punishment?
Well, yeah, because if God demands it, then they would deserve it.
What did those
because
children
what they
do
did to
deserve
the
that
Israelites,
punishment?
right?
The infants can't do anything to the Israelites. So what did the children do to the Israelites?
But didn't the Amalekites kill the Israelite children as well?
Yeah, but that wasn't the infant Amalekite children.
No,
Those were previous generations.
The Amalekites didn't kill any children.
The Amalekites didn't kill none of the Israelite kids.
What the Amalekites did in Exodus, I think it's 27, is that when the Jews came out of Egypt, they attacked them, but that was because they were going through their land. So, like, here, a question for you: if I was to just be hanging out with, like, I think the number's 1 million, but let's say 15 of my friends and walking through your backyard, would you just like, would you be upset?
No, not really. I asked why you walking through my backyard.
And if I just say, hey, we're just traveling through?
Oh, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. I mean, they're going through my backyard. My backyard probably leads somewhere.
Now, imagine if it's the whole country, and put yourself in the ancient Near East, and it's a whole tribe of people going through, eating, drinking, doing whatever they're doing, and it's people you don't know. So you could see why they were a little suspect, right?
So the Amalekites were, So the Israelites was walking through the Amalekites' land, right? Correct?
No, the Israelites were going through the Amalekite land.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, the Israelites are going through the Amalekites' land. The Amalekites didn't like that for some reason, and they attacked the
Not for
Israelites.
some reason, because it was their land. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were walking through. They weren't a threat, and they just said, you know what, we're gonna kill these guys for walking through our land.
They were for sure a threat.
Well, they were a threat because I'm probably sure they had weaponry on them, but they attacking the Amalekites in their land, or were they just passing on through?
I don't think it says. Let's look it up.
Honestly, I don't even know if it's relevant. Well, it's not relevant, right? Because what we're talking about here is the infant babies of Amalekite. So the question I have for you, Andrew. So the question I have for you, do we agree that those Amalekite children were not part of any previous attacks? Those infant newborns, were they part of any previous attack? It's just a yes or no.
No, but the God, he wanted to. Don't he says he's going to punish all the generations or whatever that that was.
So the question is, what did those newborn babies do to deserve a punishment of death?
Well, I'm guessing, if I could, I'm not trying to. I don't know God's mind, but I'm guessing he didn't want the little kids to grow up, because after he killed the Amalekites, he don't want the kids to also grow up and wage war against the Israelites for what they did to the parents of the Amalekites. So he just said kill everybody.
So they didn't do anything to deserve death, correct?
No, probably not. No.
Okay, so God gave them a punishment that they did not deserve.
No, it seemed like it's just
no
war,
or yes to that proposition.
Yeah, he punished them for something that they did not.
Okay, and that's just the definition
I don't even know if you said
that's the definition of because you said God punished people who what makes them good is that he punished people who did wrongdoing, but here he's punishing people who did no wrongdoing, which is by definition what it means to be unjust, right? So I just like your premise. But
don't the sins of the sins of the father fall upon the sons, right?
Not intentionally. Like if you're a parent, right, and you're like I don't know, you're abusing drugs, you're out there doing like things that you're not supposed to do while you have kids and you need to take care of them, right? That's going to affect your children, right? And we understand you shouldn't negatively affect your children. Now, if you're a judge and you're like, okay, well, let's talk about like child custody, and then like as the judge, as the person who's supposed to be looking out for the best interests of the child, you yourself decide to start harming that child. You yourself decide to say, well, because what you're doing as a parent is wrong, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give your child like cancer, right? Do you think that would be a good judge?
No, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, because that child doesn't deserve that. So these children, you already agreed. I mean, we don't have to say it again, but these children didn't deserve this. And what it means to dish out a punishment, that another person intentionally dish out a punishment towards a person who does not deserve it, is just what it means to be unjust. That's just an analytic truth, right? So if you're unjust, then you're not good, because being just is good. So.
Okay. So can God be both good and bad?
No, he can't be perfectly good as you claim.
Why not?
Well, because we agreed that justice is good, right? And if justice is good, God is unjust, at least sometimes. Therefore, he's not perfectly good.
There's also this thing where if you can say that sometimes somebody's good and sometimes somebody's bad, but like take Hitler for example. Does it matter how many little old ladies he helped cross the street? Would you say like sometimes he's a good guy?
Of course it matters if he's helping old ladies across the street. Why wouldn't that matter?
So if I asked you about Hitler and you knew everything about Hitler, but also you just learned in his life, he helped 1,000 little old ladies cross the street. You would say he's not all bad.
Yeah, he's not all bad because he helped the ladies go across the street.
Bonkers.
What's wrong with that?
That's
Is that wrong or?
Yeah, that's. Let me tell you why that's wrong. Because I don't think there's any amount of helping little old ladies cross the street that can overcome one Holocaust.
Who said anything about overcoming the Holocaust? It's just doing good. He's just doing good things.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't even put that label on him for doing anything that I would consider good because he did a Holocaust.
Yeah, but he did good things too.
Yeah,
why don't
but
those things
Holocaust?
matter?
Because Holocaust. The answer to anything you're going to ask me about is just going to be Holocaust. And if you're answering yes, so to Holocaust, I don't know what to tell you. That is. Mm-hmm. Killing millions of people is an answer. I don't know how you're saying how when I'm telling you he killed millions of innocent people.
Yeah, but he also saved thousands of old ladies.
Did Hitler have like some sort of side job where he like helps old ladies cross the street?
No, I'm just talking about his example. He said that it doesn't matter.
Where'd you get thousands?
No, he said that. He said if Hitler helped 1,000 old ladies across the street.
Do you think that God is perfectly good or not? Do you think that God is perfectly good or not? You think every action that he takes is good? Okay.
He's perfectly good and perfectly bad.
Is Satan perfectly bad?
Yeah, Satan's perfectly bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, this is just a straightforward contradiction, right? What it means to be perfectly good, right? Just to be clear, what we mean by good and what we mean by bad, right? What it means to be perfectly good is just to never fail with respect to some moral standard. What it means to be perfectly bad is to always fail with some moral standard. Now, you agree that both of those can't be true at the same time. You can't both always do something and never do that thing, correct?
You said to be good is to be perfectly good without any moral failings?
No, to be perfectly good is to never fail with respect to some moral standard. Okay, we understand that?
Where's it? Well, where does it say that in the Bible? It doesn't say that in the Bible.
No, that's just what good means. That's what it means to be perfectly good.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that in the Bible.
Okay, if you always meet if you always in every action that you take over your entire life, you do exactly what you should do. Is that bad?
If I do exactly what I should do?
In every single action.
It wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, you would never do any, by definition, you're never doing anything bad, right? Okay, so does God ever do something that he should not do?
No.
Okay, then he's not any bad. There's no bad there, right? Okay, so if God is, that means, yeah, so that means God is perfectly good.
You guys are doing this too difficultly. Hey, Andrew, if God commanded you to kill your entire family, would you do it?
He wouldn't command that because he said, "Thou shalt not kill."
Andrew, if he did, would you do it?
He wouldn't do that. That's a contradiction.
Really? Has God not commanded people to kill their families before?
No, he wouldn't command me to do it because there's no scripture that indicates that he would command me to do it.
Andrew, imagine a world in which he does. Would you do it?
No, because I wouldn't think that's God.
But he is, based on the hypothetical I've given you, he is.
No, but he's not. He can't be God. That's a contradiction.
God damn, you're stupid.
How's that stupid?
All right.
One of you guys want to explain why that's really stupid?
So, well, it's because there's tons of scripture where he would do it. But are you saying there's no scripture where God would tell you to kill your family?
Yeah, no, there's no scripture where God would command me to kill my family.
No. Are you saying there's no scripture where God would command anyone to kill their family?
I'm pretty sure for somebody, but not for me. It doesn't say that for me.
Wait, you're not in the Bible.
I know. That's why I said God wouldn't command me to do it.
Do you think you're going to heaven?
If I keep his commands, yeah.
What's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew. Is there any scripture that says Andrew is going to go to heaven if he keeps the commandments?
It says, anyone who keeps my commandments, I shall love him, and then my Father shall love him, and they shall dwell with me in paradise. It says anyone.
Do you have a Bible? Anyone? Great. Do you have a Bible with you?
I don't. I'm outside.
All right. I'm going to read a verse to you. It's from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13. I'm starting at verse 6, okay?
Yep.
If anyone secretly entices you, even if it is your brother, your father's son, or your mother's son, or your own son or daughter, or the wife you embrace, or your most intimate friend, saying, let us go serve other gods, whom neither you nor your ancestors have known. Verse 7. Any of the gods of the peoples who are around you, whether near you or far away from you, from one end of the earth to the other. Verse 8. You must not yield to or heed any such persons. Show them no pity or compassion, and do not shield them. Verse 9. But you shall surely kill them.
Yeah, but we're not under that law no more. We're under the law of grace.
What does the word
That's
always
the
mean?
sacrificial law.
Just real quick, what does the word always
Oh.
mean?
Yeah, that's talking about at the time. That's what he meant by at that time, always.
Just out of
But
curiosity,
that
what
was,
does the what? Wait. Listen to the question. What does the word always mean?
I don't know. Tell me.
What do you think it means?
I have no idea. I guess it
You
means
don't know what-
continuously. Maybe I don't know.
Always, forever, right? Without end, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to read a verse from 2 chapters prior, Deuteronomy 11, verse 1.
Actually, I have a better verse for you. For you.
Go for
This
it.
is this is Bandrews 3:15. Bandrews 3:15 says, fuck out of here, Andrew. Shout out to multiple people who paid me before the 20-minute mark to kick Andrew at the 20-minute mark. I just missed it by a minute.
Dang.
My apologies.
That was
people hate Andrew.
W y'all.
People really hate Andrew. The bounty has been paid. It's because he doesn't fucking listen, dude. It's like talking to a brick wall when you talk to Andrew from New Jersey. A brick wall. Let's bring up our next guest, guys. Thank you for supporting the show. If you supported the show so far, William is one of the people that paid to boot Andrew. So was who was the other person? Shy over on YouTube also did. Rain said thoughts on Romans 8 and 9. Which one is Romans 8 and 9?
Romans 9, I believe, is like the potter making the stuff.
Bleeding Roses said, ask Andrew if he's seen Obsession and who he thinks the victim is. Crank That Drive said Amalekites had 600 years to correct their actions. So that makes killing all their babies okay?
Yeah, so like this, it's just a straightforward, what would that fallacy be? An association fallacy, right? So when you say the Amalekites, you're including in the set of the Amalekites the infant children, right? And if you're including the infant children, then you're saying the infant children had 400 years. At least some of the infant children had 400 years to correct their action, which is false, right? So the infant children had nothing to do with it. So when we ask, did the children deserve that, right? You could say, well, some people 400 years deserved it. You could say the soldiers now deserve it, the adult soldiers. You can't say that the infant children deserve it. So
nailed it, Jeff.
Just grouping everybody together is just like
ready.
That's one of the biggest like reasons for like genocides and mass holocausts and atrocious behaviors in history is because we like kind of group everybody together, including their children and stuff like that, rather than the people who are actually responsible.
To me, that's just one of those people. It's like one of those people that are like, well, the Palestinian kids deserve what's happening in Gaza right now.
Exactly.
But also
one more skateboarder. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
The Amalekites didn't do they did that one thing. You're conflating them with like maybe Canaanites or Hittites or some other group. The Bible has Amalek attacking and then the Israelites attacking back 400 years later. This isn't one of these groups that's like, oh, they were doing this thing. This isn't like the Midianites or anything like that. So no, that's heresy, actually.
One more skateboarder said, if you need an abortion in the Bible Belt, just claim it is an Amalekite and you have God's permission to abort.
Every time.
Yo, that's so good. Let's bring up our next guest.
Oh, yeah, good.
Coming up next to stream, we have Kyle. Kyle is calling from New York to talk about topic number 1, the Christian God is real. Kyle, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
I am 27 years old, and this is ridiculous. My pronoun is him. Yes, he, him.
Okay, why is that ridiculous? I don't know who you are.
Because gender and biology are basically the same, and it was identified as a mental illness in the American Psychiatric Institute of 1977, and a bunch of far leftists changed the definition.
You want to bet?
Bet what? Link me your paper. Have you read the American Psychiatric Institute work from 1977? It was absolutely classified as a mental disorder, gender dysphoria, until it was changed.
Do you want to? No. Do you want to bet that it actually is a mental disorder?
I mean, I just explained to you,
is being gay a mental disorder?
Why it's not.
Is being gay a mental disorder? Is being gay a mental disorder?
No. I have no problem with gay
because being gay being gay was considered a mental disorder per the DSM. But you're saying it's not.
They were actually wrong.
So they were wrong about that, but they weren't wrong about this. What's your evidence for that?
Yes, because you can find homosexuality in nature.
What's your evidence for that?
Sheep, birds, sheep. You have gay sheep.
Really? So if we happen to see animals, who take on the roles and attributes of opposite gendered animals, then this would signify that this exists in nature, right?
I would say no, because you show me where you have male and female throughout nature, unless you're talking about specific
lions,
female lions in captivity when there is no male will grow out a mane and begin acting as male lions.
All right, but you see the word you just used, right? Act. It doesn't make a lioness a lion.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Real quick, Jeff, before you do, I just want to throw out there, we are nature. So if we do it, that means it exists in nature. But go ahead, Jeff.
Kyle, how much do you think it costs to... Kyle, I know you hear my voice.
Engineering.
Hey, Kyle.
You don't know what these words mean, Kyle.
Just really quickly, how much do you think it costs to sod a football field? To turf a football field?
To sod a football field? I have no idea. I would probably say it depends on the football field, but if I'm guessing $5,000, I don't know.
No, it's somewhere between $1 and $1.5 million. Do you know what that means?
What does that mean?
That means that every time you move them goalposts, you're putting holes in my football field, and it's expensive.
I haven't moved the goalposts.
Hold on. I don't want you to interrupt. I want you to. You gotta know the entire thing. Then what happens is I gotta call the grounds crew, and they gotta work overtime. This thing is heavy, so I need a lot of them. And then I gotta worry about OSHA coming in because I'm making people work overtime to put holes in expensive AstroTurf or sod or whatever. That's you doing that. Do you want to know how you move the goalpost, my friend?
I'm waiting because I don't want to interrupt you.
So you said if we see it in nature, then we don't see it in nature at all. And the minute Jovan showed you us seeing it in nature, you were like, yeah, but that's yeah, but is the international phrase for moving the goalpost.
He didn't demonstrate it.
I did actually.
So lions.
He said something about a lioness being in captivity.
Hold on. Listen. You ever seen The Lion King?
Yes, bro. I've seen The Lion King.
Did Nala have a mane?
Did Nala have a? Yo, this is supposed to be an academic discussion.
Have you ever seen a female lion with a mane, Kyle?
Academic.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a female lion with a mane, Kyle?
A female lion with a mane? I don't think so.
A female lion with a mane? So no, if they're in captivity and there's no males and they grow a mane, what do you call that? Do you think they're going to the doctor and getting HRT?
But it's still a lioness, though. It's still a female lion.
I'm just going to ask the
Oh my
question
God.
again.
It's a lioness.
Do you think they're going to the doctor and getting HRT, Kyle?
Let's do this. Let's do
It's
this.
still a
Let's make it
lioness,
so.
though.
Let's make it so simple for Kyle. Kyle, you claim it's a mental illness. Give me the evidence. Give me actual evidence that it's a mental illness.
I mean, the same way where if somebody identifies as like, I'm 27, right? If I
That's
go
crazy.
around telling people I'm 15
That's not
years
evidence.
old.
Oh, I'm
Hold
sorry. You
on,
might
I'm
not
about
know
to
what
give
you might not know what evidence means, Kyle. Hold on, let me rephrase it. Give me a
I
piece of
referenced the start of this
academic.
conversation with the
give me
American
a
Psychiatric
piece-
Institute.
And the
Like,
American
and I told
Psychiatric.
you,
Well, guess
you
what? The
could read it and
American
it was
Psychiatric
classified as one
Institute
until people
disagrees
like
with you
yourself
now.
changed it.
They disagree with you now. Right now, they disagree with you. Do you want me to read from
That's
their
leftist
website
in power.
verbatim?
That's
Really?
leftist in
Really?
power
Did you
changing
know that?
definition.
Did you know that like multiple of the authors of the DSM-5, specifically the section on gender dysphoria, are anti-trans advocates, people who believe in conversion therapy? Did you know that? I bet you didn't, because I bet you've never looked up who the authors of the DSM-5 are. I bet you've never looked to see which ones are left-leaning or right-leaning, have you? And even they agree with the fact that there is no link to mental illness and it being gender incongruent. Did you know? Or was that not in your academic literature?
I mean, can you tell me why then when I point to
No,
a study,
no,
every
I'm
time
sorry.
we have
What
a
you're not going to
conversation with
do
a
is you're not
leftist,
going
right?
to you're not going to shift the burden. You haven't pointed to a study. You pointed from
What?
to an outdated form of the DSM. If you have a study now, something that has been peer reviewed with solid methodology that supports your claim, give the title.
I got you right now. What if I'm
Can't
going to
wait.
link a study that shows that
Just say the
people who
title.
identify as trans are way higher at likelihood of suicide
Whoa.
and
Hold
other
up.
forms of mental
Whoa,
illness?
causation versus correlation, motherfucker. I want the source that proves to me it's a mental illness. I don't want a source that says that they have higher suicide rates. That doesn't do anything. I don't want a source that talks about their comorbidities. That doesn't do anything. You told me it's a mental illness, which would mean you should have some type of medical or academic research that has solid methodology and has been peer reviewed that confirms the hypothesis that being gender incongruent is a mental illness. Do you have that?
I absolutely do. And you know what's
So
crazy?
what's the
You would
title?
just call all of those studies right-wing conspiracy
No,
theories.
I wouldn't. That sounds like something someone would say if they didn't have a fucking title of a study. What you're doing is you're poisoning the well because you don't have a study to back up what you're saying. Otherwise, you know what you would just do?
You know what's so funny? We
I
can
do
tell
know
the-
it's
we can
funny.
ch-
Here's what's funny. Present the study. That's what's funny.
You know what's so
Is that
funny?
you're squirming,
You're talking
you're
about presenting
squirming,
studies,
running,
and then you
running,
shifted to the Lion
running,
King.
running,
I was trying to keep
running,
it academic.
running,
You shifted to the Lion
running,
King.
running.
You can tell the gender,
You
the
are
biological sex of a
running.
lion.
You are
through
running.
its
This sounds like a
chromosomes.
run. This sounds like
Even if
somebody
a
who doesn't
female
have a
lioness
study. You know what
grows
this
a
sounds
mane,
like?
the
This
chromosomes
sounds
of
like
the lion
somebody
still show that
who
is genetically
doesn't have
female.
you're muted. This sounds like something somebody would say who doesn't have a study. I want you to recognize this right now. If you had a study, you would just say it. But instead, you're trying to vamp, probably because you're feverishly typing into ChatGPT right now to spit you out something that agrees with you. But guess what? You're not going to find a peer-reviewed study with solid methodology that reasserts your claim that there is a causal link between mental illness and being trans. Otherwise, you would have done it now. Now, you're unmuted right now. All I want to hear from you is the name of your study. Do you have it? Or are you going to continue to flounder?
Yes, it's right here. Yale Public School of Health. Transgender individuals are at greater risk of health problems and mental.
That's not an
Right here.
argument for your
This
proposition.
is the
That's
Yale
strike
Public
one.
School of Health.
That's
Right,
strike
listen,
one.
do you think being a veteran is a mental illness?
No.
Well,
Okay.
hold on really
Do
quickly.
veterans have higher? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Before we do, I want to just point out, because what we're going to do is we're going to start talking about something which is going to let him off the hook. I'm not
Yeah.
going to let this motherfucker off the hook.
All right.
I want it to be aware that he has not read this study, right? All he has done right now is he went to Google and he clicked on the first thing he thinks that he found. But what I want to be so aware of is that I have read this study. I have read it. And do you know
The Yale
what this
Public
study,
Health study?
do you
Oh, I know
know, do you know what this study says is the cause of the mental health risks that they face? It's not being trans, it's societal and familial stigma Stigmatization. So
How is there
Kyle,
stigma? And when people
Kyle,
like you in
what
the
I
media are
want you
bending
to
over
do,
backwards for them.
Kyle, what I want you to do is admit to me you did not read this study you just linked me, because it
I
does not
definitely
prove your
didn't, but
point.
you said there were no studies.
I know you didn't. Thank you so much. You know what? W to Kyle for admitting that he didn't read this
Nah,
goddamn study.
Yeah.
nah.
You
And in the
little
study, in the
Weasley
results, it
fuck.
explicitly says,
Nah.
however, increased time since last gender affirming surgery was strongly associated with reduced mental health treatment.
No, I'm not. Look, I've been
You
on your.
wormy
I've been
little
on your
fuck.
show, Jovan. I've been on your
Do
show a
you
few
think
times, and I have
politically
yet to.
motivated people can be scientists?
Kyle. Shut the fuck up.
Do I
Jovan,
get
I've
to
been on your
speak, or
show.
is this a
Hey,
monologue?
Kyle.
You
No,
will get
right
to
now
speak
you
when
don't
we
get
say
to
it's your
speak.
turn. It's
You're
Jeff's turn
very
right now.
uncivilized. I know you hear my voice, and in the middle of my sentence you start speaking. That's weird. So, Jovan, I've been on your show
You
several
cut me
times,
off
and I
10
have yet
times,
to.
bro.
Hey,
Don't be a
Kyle. Hey,
hypocrite.
Kyle. It sounds like you're talking while I'm talking. Stop being a lower primate. So, Jovan, what I'm saying is, I've been on your show a bunch of times now, and I have yet to see you charge one of your famous waste my time taxes. And this seems like one of those times. I need to experience
Jeff.
it. This is
This
a waste
does
my
seem
time
like
moment.
one of these times. Kyle, you wasted my time by bringing up a study that you claimed would prove your point that you hadn't read. So, Kyle, you now owe a $25 waste our time tax. So, in order to continue this conversation, Kyle, in order for us to continue, which I'd love to have the God debate, but like you first, you must pay the waste my time tax. So, my Cash App and Venmo are on the screen. My YouTube super chat button is there. You owe us $25 to continue this conversation because you've wasted our time.
I don't think you guys are worth $25, to be honest.
Kyle, I don't really care. You're on mute right now. So you're on mute until the tax is paid. So either you pay the tax. Also, screeners, make sure you put in to Kyle's notes that he owes a $25 waste our time tax. Because they'll try to call back. And Kyle does not get to speak until the tax is paid. So I'm waiting. Kyle, I can see you talking because your light is blinking, but I hate to break it to you. When I say you're on mute and then you hear a beep, that means we can't hear you. So until you hear another beep, we don't know what you're saying. So you owe a $25 waste our time tax because you wasted our time by bringing up a study that you didn't read, that did not substantiate the claim that you were making. And in fact, just so we are aware, chat, and this is something I like to do here, is give you guys the actual sources on the shit that we're talking about. So Kyle says, well, per the APA, guys, it is a mental illness. It's a mental illness, guys. But, and here's the funny thing, and I'm sure Jeff knows this to be the case, and I'm sure Carbon knows this to be the case, because they're like actually like intelligent individuals. But oh, would you look at this? What is this is the American Psychiatric Association website. Oh my gosh, this is a gender dysphoria diagnosis section. Oh man, let's just scroll. What is this? Ruling out psychiatric illnesses? Well, this won't disagree with Kyle, right? Right. Oh, well, hold on, let me read. There are no studies indicating that psychiatric illness causes gender dysphoria as a consistent condition over time. What? You mean to tell me that Kyle is just talking out of his ass? Who would have thunk, except literally every person that listened to the call because they know Kyle's an idiot. Now, Kyle, I see you're still talking to yourself. We're waiting on you to pay the waste our time tax. Cash App and Venmo is right there. YouTube Super Chat, right there. As soon as you pay the waste your time tax, we can continue the conversation. But if you don't, you're going to just sit there and talk to yourself. Jeff, I'm so glad you picked up on the big waste of time that Kyle did.
Now I feel like I'm here. Like I've experienced the full joint.
He's experienced the full baddie. The study, by the way, that is linked in the Yale source Kyle gave is called Reduction in Mental Health Treatment Utilization Among Transgender Individuals After Gender Affirming Surgeries, a Total Population Study. Now, maybe it's just me. Maybe I am you know, maybe I'm just crazy, but it's almost like this study links a cause. That's crazy. I wonder what that cause is. I wonder what it might be. Now, Kyle, we're still waiting, Kyle, for you to pay the tax. I mean, you can keep talking to yourself if you want. It's
Look,
entertaining.
he started the conversation by saying in 1977, right? I'm old as fuck, and I wasn't born in 1977. There was 3 years left for me to exist as a person. And in 1977, if you had poisoning, they would give you Ipecac. And now Ipecac could ruin your heart. Like, they don't do that anymore because it's harmful.
Don't you remember when we put cocaine in soda?
Yeah, like, I mean,
it's almost like things advance.
Smoked in college class.
And then I loved the the fallacy that eked out when I said, well, hey, wait a minute, being gay was considered a mental disorder. What? But that changed. He was like, yeah, but that one's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, just admit you're attracted to trans people, and it makes you feel icky, and it would solve so much issues.
Is like, if we're making the inference that well, this group of people, this identifiable group of people has a higher rate of, you know, these kinds of actions I consider to be harmful, right? That's what I was gonna ask him. I'm like, well, listen, do you think it's a mental illness just to be a veteran? Now, he said no, but I would imagine, like, okay, well, veterans have a higher suicide rate, much higher suicide rate relative to the average population. Is it a mental illness to be a veteran? Now, I don't know what he would have said to that, but I imagine it would have been followed up by stammering and hummering.
Oh, absolutely, it would have been. Kyle, we're waiting. We're just waiting on you to pay the.
They still did lobotomies in 1977.
Kyle, we're waiting on you. Pay the tax, Kyle. As soon as you pay the tax,
for Kyle.
As soon as you pay the tax, we can move on, bud. But you owe a tax, Kyle. You gotta pay up. You gotta pay the troll toll to get into this boy's hole. I know what I said.
No pause. No, we don't.
I'm gonna keep him muted for everybody and just see if he's still talking to himself.
Is that what that green circle is?
Yeah. Kyle, you ready to pay your tax or no? You ready to pay your tax, Kyle? He's not ready, chat. Kyle is not ready to pay his tax. Well, considering it's been 17 minutes, we will have to move on from Kyle. He was too afraid to call in to actually engage, and then could not engage in good faith. So Kyle's going to get a mark here. Owes $25 for wasting time. Oh well, Kyle. It was good to talk, I guess. If good is in God's nature, then that's what this call was.
Mr. Ryden said, is being a veteran a mental illness such a bogus question? Well, he shouldn't have made the inference, and I wouldn't have asked the question.
Oh God, I wasn't gonna let him escape that fucking study shit, because he was like, don't try to quick Google search a study on me, bruh. Sin said, Isaiah 45:7, I form the light and create darkness, I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Pretty clear. God causes good and evil. Christianity is false. True. Allison Pepper said, talking to Andrew is actually worse than talking to a brick wall. At least brick walls is made of substance. Talking to Andrew is like talking to a cringe guy's vape cloud. Damn, Andrew getting dragged up in this bitch. All right, let's bring up the next person. Coming up next to stream is John, calling from Ohio to talk about God existing. John, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
I'm 41 and I have no pronouns.
You have no pronouns whatsoever, really?
Correct.
How come you used a pronoun to tell me you didn't have pronouns? That was weird, right?
Just for the sake of argument.
It was just for the sake of argument. So you do not have any pronouns whatsoever. First person, third person, you have none.
Correct. You can assume my pronouns if you
My,
like. It won't
chill.
offend me,
Whoa,
but-
hold on. My, that was a pronoun. Careful. I thought you don't have any.
Oh.
You don't have the buzzer.
I don't.
Okay, well, here's what we'll do, just to keep you on track.
Okay, he, him. How about that?
You do have
he,
pronouns. Oh, ain't that crazy? Who would have guessed that you, as an English speaker, has something that all English speakers have?
For the sake of argument. It was just for the sake of argument.
If you don't want us to call you he, him, we'll call you something else. I'll call you she, her if you prefer. They, them, it, it's. Whatever you prefer, John. Do you prefer she, her?
That sounds mentally unstable, but for
why would that be?
You
said for the sake of argument, you call it he, him. That leads me to believe that you don't actually go by he, him. So what do you go by?
Yeah. I told you I
her?
don't go by anything.
Well, that's not true.
So anyway, so back to the argument. So
hold on. I just need
exist.
real quick, and we'll get to it. I promise. I just needed a little admission from you that, like,
sure,
people do call you he, him in your personal life, and you know that to be true.
Yes, because I have masculine features.
Oh, okay. So you do have pronouns, and they're he, him, and you prefer when people call you that, because when people call you she, her, you would say that they're mentally unstable. So you do have pronouns that you prefer. Thank you, John, for admitting to us here now that you have preferred pronouns. Now, John, we are three atheists who don't believe God is real. If that's what you consider bullying, then God damn. John, we are three atheists who believe God is real. So Mr. Pronoun User John, what is your argument for God being, or I'm sorry, we don't believe God is real. My apologies, chat. John, what is your argument for the reality of God, and do you have any evidence to support this argument?
Sure. So first I'd like to ask, is it greater to exist or to not exist?
Neither. Existence is not a predicate.
What does greater mean?
So is it better? Is it better to exist or not to exist? Greater.
Better with respect to what?
Yeah, that's incoherent.
Like my preferences? You're just talking about my desires and preferences? Is that the standard?
Sure. Do you prefer to exist or to not exist?
I prefer myself.
These
to
two
exist,
motherfuckers
right?
locked in.
Okay, so
like
now,
just to be clear,
but that wouldn't follow for all entities. So, for example, I would prefer that like Thanos doesn't exist.
I would prefer that Obi-Wan does exist.
Yeah. So, like for example, it would not be better if Thanos existed. Do you agree?
Well, for Thanos, it would be greater, right?
Why would it be? Well, no, you were talking about my preferences. You said greater is with respect to my preferences. Is that not what you said?
Well, I'm using greater as in the definition
yes or no?
of greater. I think you understand what the definition of greater is.
You said
right?
greater means with respect to Carbon's preferences. Carbon's preferences. Wait, hold on. Wait. You're over talking. Okay. So you said what greater means is with respect to Carbon's preferences. You said yes to that question, right? Carbon's preference is that Thanos does not exist. Therefore, it's better that Thanos does not exist, correct? That follows, right?
Right, but it would be greater for Thanos to exist than not to exist.
No.
Well, that's no, because what is my preference about Thanos' existence?
Is existence better than non-existence?
For some entities, for other entities, no.
Okay. Would it be greater for God to exist than not to exist?
Define God.
This is also, look, I'm just going to let you know, this
just
is
use your own definition.
Hold on.
Okay, I'll define God.
Hold on.
Well, hold on, Jeff, because Carbon did ask him a question.
Okay.
A being that what?
A being which no greater can be conceived.
Okay, and just to be clear, greater is with respect to Carbon's preferences, correct?
I mean, if you want to use subjective preference, sure.
Okay, cool. So my understanding of a greater being, that no greater being could be conceived, would be one that stops like rape and torture and genocide, So yeah, it
So
would
hold
be
on, hold
better
on. No,
for
you're
a
jumping
God
in too
like
far.
that.
You're
I
going
don't
too
know why
far
I'm being
already.
overtalked. I don't know why I'm being overtalked.
Because you're
So
already off track.
I
You're already
still
off
don't know
subject.
why I'm being overtalked. Okay, so
Okay.
my preferences is that there be a being who's all powerful, all knowing, perfectly good, and what it means to be perfectly good. And my preferences is such that that being would stop all instances and prevent all instances of rape, torture, genocide. Now, I agree that that would be a better world.
Okay, so would it be better for that God that you just described to exist or to not exist?
It would be better for that God to exist. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. That's what I was looking for. So, so what I'm going to present to you is called the ontological argument.
I've heard.
And in the ontological
I like that he
argument,
says it like we've not heard it before.
it presents that. Why are you talking over me now?
Because it's my show.
I'm not talking. I'm making noises.
Well, I was, but it's my show, so I'll talk whatever I want to.
So it presents two forms of existence. One form is in the real world, right? What you can see, touch, smell, feel, so on and so forth, and then existence in the mind. Would you agree that things could exist in the mind that don't exist in the real world?
Yeah.
I'll stop you for a sec. I'll stop you for a second. No.
No?
That would be an equivocation fallacy.
No, it wouldn't.
Well, okay.
So,
You
for
just
instance,
hold on. You literally just said there are two types of existence. That's what you said, right? I didn't imagine that.
Correct.
So that means I would interpret that as there's two senses of existence, correct?
No. There's two types of existence. One,
meaning
which is
two
in the real world.
different,
I'll give you
two
an example. Would you
different
like an
types.
example?
Are they different existences?
Would you like an
Are
they
the two types of existence
correct?
Are they
correct?
Are they different?
So, for instance,
I'll give you an
example. I'll give you an example.
Talking.
Do you want an example or no? Or do you want an
Stop
example?
talking.
Okay, you don't want an example.
Stop talking. Stop talking.
Okay.
I want you to answer the question I asked you.
Sure.
Are they
Go ahead. What's the question?
different?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you know what an equivocation fallacy is?
That's not important. Would you like
Do
an
you know?
example
I'm going
of
to
what
ask
I'm
that.
talking about?
So that's strike one. So I
well,
get
here,
it.
let me just clear it up for you.
Sometimes, so here's what we're going to do. The next thing that's going to happen is when, yes, because I asked you a question, right? That was a slider on the inside corner and you swung early.
Well, something can
I'm going to throw,
hold on.
so the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to get muted if you continue to do this.
Okay,
I do not care if you're here. Okay. I do not care if you're here. I do want you to answer the question, and right now you're acting like a timeshare salesperson. We're going to go step by step.
So you just keep interrupting me.
I charged you with a fallacy, and I want to make sure that I have an opportunity to show you what the fallacy is. So strike one was you swinging early at an inside slider. I'm going to throw a curveball on the outside corner right now and ask you the same question again. Do you know what an equivocation fallacy is?
Why don't you explain it to me?
Okay, so an equivocation fallacy is when you use a term that has two different senses and act like both senses are the same. So now I'm going to lay it out for you. You said things that exist in the real world is one sense of existence. And then you said things that exist in the mind is another sense of existence. And from there you fashion the sentence, are there things that exist in the mind that don't exist in the world? Which is like you're saying, are there things that schmixtens in the mind that don't exist in the world? It's two different things. So the answer is, if you're doing it correctly and saying, are there things that exist in the mind in the same sense that they exist in the real world? No.
Well, no, I see. That's where you should have just let me clarify. So something can exist in the mind and in the real world, right?
No.
Something can exist in the mind and in the real world?
Not in the same sense, no.
So the laws of logic, they don't both exist in the mind and in the real world?
Absolutely not, no.
Oh. So if I think of fire in my mind, fire does not exist in the real world?
Not in the same sense. What's confusing about that?
Yeah, you're confusing a concept with the reference.
No,
with the
you're
concept is
you're the one
referencing.
who's confused
Right,
because
so when you
something can both
say- when you
exist in the
say
mind
fire,
and something
you're
can
just
exist in
equivocating.
reality.
Yeah, when you
Fire
say
doesn't
fire,
exist in your
you're-
fire doesn't exist in your mind.
yeah, the
I can
concept
A
of
think
mental-
of fire in my mind.
Yes, so
correct?
that's called a mental image of fire. That's not actually fire.
Correct. Right,
Yeah,
right.
so-
And then fire can exist in reality, right?
Actual
No.
fire exists in reality.
No, listen. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna ask the question, what is an equivocation fallacy? I'd like you to tell me now.
That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
So
here.
that's strike 2. So
You did a-
strike
That's not
1.
strike 2.
Strike 1 was
You're
I
just
pitched the
not
ball and
very
you
smart,
swung.
and you think
That's
you
good.
are.
That's good. I'm not smart, but you don't know what an equivocation
right.
fallacy is.
Because you just
After
literally
I
said
told you
fire
what it
can't
was.
exist in
No,
Hey,
that's
reality.
Jeff,
fine.
real
So
quick.
here's-
Jeff, real quick. I just wanted to know something real quick. If I had a picture of a cheeseburger, could I eat that?
Uh-huh. You could eat a picture of a cheeseburger, yeah, because the picture
I-
exists.
Would I
A
get the
mental
same
picture.
nutritional value of the cheeseburger? Is it the same as eating a cheeseburger?
That's not my argument. Do you not
You-
understand my argument?
You did.
I'm
You
sorry.
did say that the fire
Exactly what you
exists
said.
in your mind, and
You-
you're saying the fire. Wait, hold on. Did you or did you not say the fire
Uh-huh.
exists in your mind and the fire exists outside your mind? Did you not say that? Yes or no?
Well, I said fire exists in the real, and it can
Yeah.
exist in my mind, correct?
Okay. Now, when you say it can exist, did you mean fire?
Yes.
Okay. So and
What
when
did
you
you
say
think I meant?
okay, cool. Okay, cool. So you said fire can exist in your mind
Like I'm
and
talking
fire
to
can exist.
level
Oh
4
my
IQ
God!
levels.
Stop over talking. All right, we're gonna figure out who has the IQ here. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
you said fire
Okay,
exists in the
okay.
mind, and fire can exist outside the mind. Correct? Understanding that
Correct.
correctly, right? Now, when you say fire
Correct.
exists in the mind, what's meant by fire there?
I think you know what fire is, right?
No, what do you mean when you say fire exists in the mind? Answer the question.
Like fire. Do you know what a fire is? Like I can in my
That
mind.
sounds like a question. I asked you a question. What does fire mean
In
when you
my
say fire
mind-
exists in my mind?
What do you think fire means?
That
There's
sounds like
no
another
shot.
question. I'm asking
There's
you a
no way.
question. The question was, what do you mean when you say fire exists in my mind? What do you mean by fire?
Like I can picture a fire in my mind.
What does fire mean?
Fire is something that burns down a house. A fire is something you have in your backyard and cook
Is
hot
my
dogs
mind being
over.
burnt down?
You can imagine it in your mind, correct?
Now, I didn't ask if you can imagine. I'm asked if the actual fire. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so do you understand? But you understand when we talk about linguistics, right? A proposition or refers to something. Do you know what a referent is?
Do you know what philosophy is?
That sounded
Holy
like
shit,
a
dude.
question.
That is philosophy.
Right. So, okay.
I know,
So I
we're
need you to
talking
read up a little bit on
philosophy
the
here.
philosophy of language, right? But when we talk
I
about
think you know what
propositions,
fire is,
I don't know
right?
why I'm
I
being
think you
overtalked.
understand what fire is.
Yeah. So here's the okay. You're not tracking, so I'm gonna walk you through this a little bit slower.
No,
okay?
you're not tracking.
So when
You
I don't
guys
know why
are
I'm being
trying
over. I
to
don't know
divert the
why I'm being overtalked.
conversation.
I don't know why I'm being overtalked.
You're
Okay.
trying to divert
So
the conversation.
propositions have reference. Now reference are the thing that it's about, right? So if I say fire, right? If I say there is a fire, there's a statement and there's the proposition, which is what the statement expresses, right? Now the referent is the actual thing that's external to my mind, that actually has heat and things like that. Now, when you say fire is in my mind, that's called a concept. Now, a concept is not the referent itself.
Correct.
The concept
Oh
is
my
not
gosh.
identical to the referent. So when you said,
Correct.
I don't know why I'm still being
Concepts
overtalked.
exist
So when you
in the
said,
mind, correct. I thought I was
Okay,
talking
cool.
to a little bit higher than 40 IQ levels here.
all right,
The
cool.
ad homs are
Now-
so
Yes,
lazy.
concepts exist
So
in
now
The
the
ad
mind.
homs are
blunder.
lazy as fuck.
Here's the elementary blunder that you made, right? So you said
Uh-huh.
that the fire exists in the mind and it exists external. And Jeff was perfectly on point when he said you're equivocating, because what you did was you changed the meaning of fire between when you said exists in the real world and exists in the mind. You can't be meaning the actual thing that actually burns is inside the mind, because then the mind would burn, right? You can't
Correct.
be meaning
I-
that.
what-
So
I
you
guess-
mean
I guess
something else
since
when you
we're
say
being
fire.
so
That's what
specific
equivocation
here,
is.
I should have said
Yeah.
the concept of fire exists in the mind.
Okay,
correct?
cool. That's a different proposition. So now Jeff was
again,
correct,
I thought
right?
you guys had over a 40 IQ and understood that.
What is
Seems
just
like
out of
you. Hold on,
curiosity,
wait, Jeff, just real quick, and then I'll let you go.
Concepts
It
exist- hold on, we'll
seems
just
like
start from
John.
day
It
one.
seems like.
Concepts
Hold on,
exist in the
John. Hold
mind,
on,
right?
John. It
Concepts
seems like
exist
what
in the mind,
happened.
right?
It seems like what happened is John has had to move the goalpost from his original claim, and instead of just owning up to the fact that he misspoke,
No, I just have to explain it like you guys are
it
five.
seems like
You've
instead
never
of
read a
John
book
having to
before.
admit that he
You
misspoke, he wants
literally
to make
asked
it out
me
like
what
we are
fire
the wrong
is.
people. I didn't know that in debates
You
that we
literally
had to
asked
be
me what
clear about
fire is.
things. I didn't know that in debate. No, he asked you what you meant by fire. That's a different
Well,
question
and again,
than
and
what
I
is
figured you guys
fire.
had an over 40 IQ
I don't know
and
if
knew what fire was.
What does it mean
I
if
didn't mean like, yo, that's
hey,
fire, dog.
real quick. If I were to ask Jeff, say any word.
Water.
If I were to say, Jeff, what do you mean by water? Am I asking Jeff what like the dictionary definition of water is? Or am I asking Jeff in the specific instance, how is he using the word?
Well, if you would have to ask what he means by water, you're pretty dumb.
Holy shit. John, let's start from the very beginning. Just give us a fucking
you're pretty
syllogism.
dumb, right? If I
John,
say
just
the
give us a
sky is
syllogism.
blue and you ask me,
John,
what do
just
you
give
mean
the syllogism.
blue?
Just give the
We'll write it
syllogism.
down.
Just give the syllogism. Just
Carbon,
give it.
you
We'll
ready?
write it down.
I'm gonna write it down too.
Yeah,
P1,
I wrote
P2,
it.
C.
So I got P1.
Yeah.
P1, it would be greatest. the
Asking what I
greatest
mean by
conceivable
blue
being.
doesn't make you sound smart.
Just
Yeah,
give
I
the
got you,
syllogism,
bro.
John. Just give the
Asking what
syllogism.
somebody means
Just
by
give the
water
syllogism.
doesn't make
I don't
you
know why
sound
you're
smart,
I don't
it
know why
makes
you're
you
doing
sound
something
dumb.
besides giving the syllogism. Just give P1, P2
So we're
conclusion.
going through
Just do it.
Anselm's we're going through Anselm's ontological debate. So what's P1?
Yeah. He established P1.
Yeah.
It says the greatest conceivable being is a being that is perfectly efficacious in preventing rape and genocide.
All right. The greatest conceivable
Correct.
being.
And my question was, is it better for that being to exist or to not exist?
Stop. I just want the syllogism. I will stop.
And then,
I want
you
stop.
asked,
I
what
want the
does exist
syllogism.
mean?
Stop. I want the syllogism. I want your P1, your P2, and your C. That's all I want.
Sure. God is a being, so existence is better than non-existence. There's the P1.
Okay.
God
so
is a being
P1,
which no greater
existence.
can be conceived. There's P2. Therefore, God exists.
Okay. So there exists a God that's perfectly efficacious in preventing rape, genocide, correct?
If you
That's
think
just a
that
simple
that's
yes or
what
no
God
question.
is,
Yeah,
okay,
I
if
told
that's your
you.
understanding of
You
what
agreed.
God should be. My question is it greater for that God to exist or not to
So
exist?
I asked you a yes or no question.
What's that?
The question was, so it follows from that a being is perfectly efficacious in preventing rape and genocide. Yes, it follows from that.
That
that's
has
my
nothing to
preferences.
do with this argument. That has nothing to do with this argument.
You said what what greater means is with respect to my preferences, Carbon's preferences. Did you not affirm that?
No, I asked for your definition of God and you gave it to
Great.
me.
Then
And
let's
I asked, would it be
easy
greater
Carbon.
for that
Easy
thing
Carbon.
to exist or
Let's
not
start
to
at the
all over the
beginning.
place.
Let's start at the beginning. When you make this
No,
when
you guys are
when you make
pivoting left and
P2,
right. It's
we haven't
crazy.
pivoted.
It's
We haven't
crazy.
pivoted. We're still on your thing, you stupid fuck.
No,
When you
have
say God
pivoted
is a
hardcore.
being,
It's
when you say in
unbelievable.
your P2, God is a I don't know how we're analyzing your syllogism, and that's considered a pivot, but maybe you were just born stupid. When you say in P2, God is a being which no greater can be conceived, what do you mean by greater?
Well, we'll start with existence. It's greater to exist. What do I mean by greater?
I don't know why
All
we
right.
just use the word greater to
Why
describe
don't you
what.
just Google it?
Since we're ditching
All right.
Carbon's
I
preferences,
can't.
now
Like
we have a
this
new
is
definition.
this is such fucking low tier bullshit. The fact that you
let's take
can't
it a-
answer
Is
a
it
question.
greater for
Jovan,
here, let me
let's
put
take it
it
a
in
different
terms you
route.
can understand.
Look,
Is it
let's
greater
take it-
for LeBron James
Hold
to
on.
score
What does
100
greater mean?
points or 50 points?
Hold on.
You're
Wait. Answer me this question. Let's say me and Carbon both want the same land. I want this land to build a house, and Carbon wants this land to build a house. Who's it greater to get that land for? Which one's
Well,
greater?
then you're talking subjective.
Whoa! So are you understanding why we're asking you this shit, you fucking idiot? So when you say greater, or do you mean greater by our subjective perception, or do you have some, albeit objective, measure of what a greater being can be?
Yes, a being which no greater can be conceived, starting on the basis of existence.
All right, cool.
It
Look,
is greater
let's
to
get,
than to not exist.
Homie,
Okay,
you have not explained
I
what.
got it.
No, Jeff, no. I need
He's
to
refusing
know
to answer.
what greater means in this fucking context. I refuse to move off of this.
Better.
That's
Better
a
for
synonym.
who? Better
Wait, no,
for
no,
who?
wait, hold on.
Better is
That's
a
a
Better for that
subjective.
person.
Better.
How are
Okay.
you not understanding this? Better for that person.
So
So
it is
when
going
Carbon,
Ain't no way.
so when Carbon said,
What
so
does
when
great
Carbon
mean? What does
said,
great mean?
John,
Explain
you
to me what
fucking
great means.
absolute idiot.
What does great
So when
mean?
Carbon
What does
said,
great mean?
You're muted,
Oh, is he
Jovan.
muted?
I think your mic got muted.
He muted himself.
There you go.
So what does great mean?
We're asking you.
muting you.
You're
I'm
still
muted you.
muted, Javon.
So when Carbon,
go.
can
Okay,
yeah,
good.
here we go.
Yeah,
So
you're
I'm
good,
going I'm going to reiterate this shit. P1 is existence is better than non-existence. That's a subjective claim. P2, God is a being which no greater can be conceived. Great. Let's analyze P2. What does it mean to be greater? You said what it means to be greater is in regards to existence versus non-existence. So your P2 is essentially just your P1. It's the same thing. You didn't make a new fucking proposition. You just stated the same proposition again.
This is so bad.
So what I want to know is, now that we know that greater means better and better is a subjective thing, which mind are we looking at to know whether it is better to exist or not exist? Which mind? That's what I want to know. So John, the beep you heard was you being unmuted. Which mind? Which mind are we doing this off of? Whose mind?
You guys haven't even let me finish the argument.
Holy shit! There's no way you're saying something. There's no way you're talking right now and not just telling me which mind. There's no way. That's all I want to know is which mind we're talking about. You've said it's better. You've said it's better, and you've said
God's mind.
Okay, so hold on. You're saying existence.
Now we're begging the question.
Literally, God is a being which no greater can be conceived, and that greater, that better, is based on God's mind.
John, don't ever debate him.
Yeah,
well, you said
you're bad at this,
subjective,
John.
right?
You're bad at this, John.
Did I say subjective,
John,
or did you say better
You
meant
said
subjective?
It like 5 times now.
You
Did
are
do I have to replay the tape? Do I have to replay the tape? Do I have to replay the tape
intersubjectively
of your
and
fucking
metaphysically
moron
bad at
ass?
this?
Holy shit, dude!
Maybe if we just did a one-on-one and two other people.
Jeff and Carbon, shut up for a second.
For you to understand.
Great, easy. Jeff and Carbon are going to shut up for a second. Let's
So
go
you can
through
just
your
mute them real quick,
through your syllogism real quick. Jeff and Carbon have completely shut up. They're not going to speak. Existence is better than non-existence, based on what?
Correct. On everything, it's always better
On
to exist
everything.
than not exist, right?
It's always better to exist than non-exist.
Correct.
Is it better that AIDS exists, or would it be better if AIDS did not exist?
You mean grids?
No, I mean AIDS.
Well, AIDS was originally called grids. Do you know that?
I don't know if you want to make yourself look even more stupid. Can you just answer the question? Can you just do that? Can you answer a question? Can you answer a question? Can you answer the question?
Sure.
I don't care about this nonsense.
What's the question?
Is it better for AIDS to exist or not exist?
To AIDS, it's better.
To AIDS, it's better. Oh, so it is subject. So existence is better than non-existence.
Correct.
It's a subjective claim.
I said in God's mind, it's better.
I don't know why you started interrupting. That's
I don't know
what I'm
why
saying.
you didn't understand.
So existence is better than non-existence to the mind. To the mind
To
that
the
is
subject,
to the mind that's analyzing this claim. So existence is better than non-existence to the mind that's your P1. P2 is God is a being which no greater can be conceived. That's your P2. And greater again is subjective to the mind that is analyzing the claim.
Correct.
Great. Oh, I love that we're now getting somewhere. So what we have is existence is better than non-existence to the mind that's analyzing the claim, and God is a being which no greater can be conceived to the mind analyzing the claim. Therefore, God exists. Now square this, because your conclusion does not even touch your premises, like in the slightest.
Okay, but you agree from that from God's perspective, right, that it would be better to exist than not exist.
No.
But it's the mind analyzing the claims, which would be me.
Correct.
So,
well, no, you may not agree with God being greater to exist than to not exist.
No.
Like the devil would say it's better for God to not exist than to exist.
When we said it's the subject, you said it's whoever's analyzing the claim, which in this instance is me. I'm the one analyzing the claim. I don't care what God might think. All you're doing is presupposing
his existence being greater is subjective, right? So now you're using your perspective.
The person analyzing the claim. I made sure that we were on the same page about that. That it's to the being, to the mind, analyzing the claim. I asked you repeatedly if that's the thing. To the mind, analyzing the claim. So I am the mind analyzing the claim.
To you, a God allowing adults to transition children would be good, right? But to me, it would not be, right?
So God exists because to God, it would be good that God exists.
Correct.
That's a circle.
To the subject, it is greater to exist.
Do you have a syllogism that is not a circle?
How's that a circle?
Because you have to presuppose that God exists in order to have that conversation. You are quite literally begging the question.
Exist. So now it goes back to
okay. So hold on. Whoa.
Now it goes back to existing in the mind.
In order for your syllogism, which is supposed to be a syllogism that you're giving us to prove that God exists, right? In order for that syllogism to be true, God must exist.
There's no way.
In order for the syllogism that you're giving to us that proves the existence of God,
you guys have not even allowed me to finish.
Oh, okay. Then we'll start from the very beginning.
We'll start interrupting and dissecting the argument.
Oh, wonderful. We'll start from the very beginning.
Fire can exist in the mind.
Cool. We'll start from the very beginning. We'll start from the very beginning. We'll start from the very beginning. No, it's cool. If we didn't let you finish, we'll start from the very beginning. Give your syllogism again.
I know, because
I just want your P1, P2C. I just want your P1, P2C, and I will not interrupt until your P1, P2C is given. But if you start doing something other than just giving your P1, P2C, then I will interrupt. Because I want us to stay on task. So P1 is...
I guess the P1 is...
By the way, just to confirm this. This is a syllogism. Hold on. This is a syllogism that will prove God exists. That's the art. This syllogism should give the sound argument that God exists. Go ahead, P1.
Sure. So there's two levels of existence. This is the P1. There's existence of the real, which is the real world, and existence of the mind. Okay? I can demonstrate this.
I don't need it demonstrated. I just need the syllogism.
Okay? I've already demonstrated this. I know you don't understand this.
I don't need it demonstrated. I just need the syllogism. Don't need it demonstrated.
I thought you said you weren't going to interrupt me.
I said I would interrupt you if you weren't giving the syllogism. You saying I could demonstrate it. This is not you giving the syllogism. So
I said I've already demonstrated it.
Wonderful. What is P2?
So existence in the mind and existence in the real. Okay.
P2.
If within your mind, okay, a being which no greater can be conceived, and we can agree that it is better to exist than not to exist to the subject. Therefore, God must exist, because you couldn't, in your mind, imagine a God that doesn't exist. Just like in your mind,
your syllogism is done.
A square
your syllogism
circle.
Is done. Your syllogism is done. This is the most
just like in your mind, you can't imagine a square
John,
circle.
your syllogism is finished.
Okay,
muted. I don't know what you think this is. I said I only wanted to hear your syllogism. This is the most incoherent thing I've ever written down. This is true incoherent babble. Now, I understand that you're doing Anselm's, I don't know how you pronounce his name, Anselm's ontological argument, but your syllogisms are terrible for that. What you should have said, the actual reasoning, is that God is defined as a being in which no greater can be conceived. A being that exists in reality is greater than one that exists only in the understanding, which is not even close to what you've said, which is within your mind, no greater being can be conceived. No, it's a being that exists in reality is greater than one that exists only in the understanding. 3, suppose God existed only in the understanding. 4, then we could conceive of a greater being, but that contradicts the definition of God as the being that which none greater can be conceived. Therefore, God must exist in reality. That's the actual way you do that fucking syllogism. Not whatever this incoherent nonsense is. Now, there's a lot of different things we can use to object to this. We can use Kant's objection to it, which is that existence is not a predicate. We could go there. We could go to in fact, we could go to a fucking hundreds of different things. But your truly incoherent syllogism, which is there are two, I wrote it down for the entirety, so I'll just read it so everybody knows. There are two levels of existence. Existence of the real, existence of the mind. That was P1. P2 was within your mind a being which no greater can be conceived, and we agree that it's better to exist than not to exist. That's what you said for P2, which is an incoherent sentence. That is a sentence that means nothing because it's the start of a sentence with no end. Therefore, God must exist because in your mind you cannot imagine a God that doesn't exist. It's dumb. It's always been dumb. You cannot define something into existence.
This is the disrespectful part of this. And by the way, in a shameless self-plug, episode 11 of Jeff Makes It Make Sense is about ontological arguments. And so it's on jmims.com if you want to just know what these are. There's Anselm, there's Descartes, and then there's Plantinga. But a contemporary of Anselm gave a reductio about, hey, I can conceive of the greatest island, and it would be better for that perfect island to exist in reality. But that's absurd. That's a reductio, right? So, like, there's literature on this. Like, Plantinga's argument is a modal ontological argument that has its own issues, but it seems like you found a crayon book of my first philosophy shit, and then you jumped out into the first live stream you found and started talking shit about something that was written in the year 1078.
He's called the line before, is what people were telling me.
Yeah, John, I would definitely implore you, probably humble yourself next time because you're not particularly well versed. Not even in this argument. You didn't even accurately represent the argument. It's fine not to be well versed, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But when you come in puffing your chest, you're gonna get embarrassed like what happened today. So like just try to humble yourself next time.
Let's just take it like Jeff said. Let's take it and let's analyze it real quick. Let's sub out God for something else. I'm thinking of a puppy. I'm thinking of the greatest puppy to ever puppy. It's the best puppy ever. There's no real puppy that could be better than this puppy. So therefore, my puppy is real. There it is.
And it's greater for a puppy to not die than to die. So at any point that this puppy exists in reality by virtue of parity of reasoning, it would never die. So it still has to be alive.
People paid to move on. I'm going to give him two seconds to give a counter to the puppy argument. So, John, what's your counter to the puppy?
Isn't it amazing how I didn't interrupt you guys at all?
Because you were muted. Because you were muted. You couldn't have if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, you interrupted me as soon as I started to make the argument. You interrupted me at least a dozen times during making the argument. You literally asked me.
Bye. I asked for a puppy. I asked for the response of the puppy, and instead you wanted to talk about the meta. I don't give a fuck about the meta.
Soft as early baby shit. We wrote
soft
your argument
and as
3
flaccid
times.
as my cock right now.
How are we gonna help you with your own argument?
We literally, Carbon, you wrote his argument. I hand wrote his argument. Then Jovan wrote his argument, and Jovan gave him the standard rendering of the argument, and then we gave you additional reading material. How much more generous do you want us to be? There's another person who probably owes somebody tuition.
That was dumb as fuck. And it's one of those cases, there's a reason why I got so annoyed with that one. Like that I like started popping off. The thing that will annoy me more than any call, more than the transphobes, more than the getting called the N-word, all of these things. The thing that annoys me the most is people that are too stupid to recognize that they are stupid. He's like, what do you mean? Of course I meant an image of fire. Hey, Bradley, is an image of fire fire? Or is it just a memory of fire?
Two separate things.
When you have a mental image of fire, what is that you're doing? Are you having a memory of a fire you've seen once before? Yeah.
And you have a concept. So a concept is the content of a thought, and contents have reference. Now the referent is the actual fire, but the concept is not the fire. It's a representation. Just like in my computer, right? There's not an actual Jovan and Jeff sitting there in my computer. It's like a representation of code, right? Like So
look,
real quick, Frost King said, in case no one knows, the Supreme Court ruled that super PAC bribery, contribution limits are against. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I just want to read the super chats we had for a second. Takia Silver said, poor John has 2 brain cells and they're in furious death match for 3rd place. This almost feels like bullying. Sacred said, hey, this dude used the word uppity for sure while he hasn't slurred yet. Yeah, I'm a little shocked about that too. And then Christian Blevins paid to boot him. And then Trans Leona said, John should never bring up anyone else's intelligence in conversation ever again. It would benefit him to never broach the subject. True. And then, what was it? William on Venmo also said, I can't, I cast banishment on this precept dumbass. And Rain also on Cash App said, it's better to exist on another call.
The Supreme Court also ruled in favor of birthright citizenship. So take that, FBA. The tethers can stay.
Take that, FBA is crazy. What an annoying. I hate presuppositionalists. I hate them so much. I hate them so much.
Here's the real crazy part is like anybody who's taken a college philosophy class. Like I hate college philosophy, like the intro to philosophy classes, because they don't teach you the concepts. They teach you the history. So they'll teach you who Kant is. They'll teach you who Anselm is, as opposed to going through the argument. But when it comes to specific philosophers, you'll actually see some of these concepts emerge in like undergrad philosophy, like a regular class. This isn't like you're going into Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy and getting one of those articles out. This isn't like you're going to like have a conversation with Graham Oppie and have like go deeper into the concepts. This is simple stuff because it was written over 1,000 years ago. And of course, if the argument that was written in 1078 was sound enough to prove that God exists, so much so that you can just go on a YouTube channel and go, I'm going to badly say it. Don't you think everybody would be a fucking Christian by now?
It's just so fucking dumb. The ontological argument for God is probably my like one of the most frustrating ones that I ever hear. Like truly,
like mine is the tag argument. Like nobody has.
Oh, tag is so bad
whatsoever. Like even Van Til and Bonson, right? Van Til's getting like messages and letters like, bro, I you have this argument that knowledge requires God, but what's the justification for it? And he never responds. Nobody ever has an argument for why that first premise of tag is true. And like it's just like the most frustrating thing ever. You're just assuming, like, it's weird.
Dude, I remember 2 days ago when we were on Heathens Live, and there's that one Phil bro, and he was talking about fucking he was doing the aesthetics argument. The whole if we look at things that are beautiful, naturalism can't explain that. And so he's like, why would I look at a sunset and feel happy? And all I did, bro, Jeff, this shit was so funny. I chimed in and I was like, hey, when do sunsets happen? He was like, at the end of the day. I'm like, okay. When we were, coming up as early creatures, did the end of the day signify some level of safety? Like we made it through the day? He was like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So like, did that make us happy? Did that like release endorphins because we realized we made it? He's like, well, why would we feel happy now? I'm like, could it be that like now that we, have evolved past the need of like safety in that way, that all that's left is the endorphins? And he sat there and he went, yeah, I never thought of that. I was like, brother, there's no way. We have some call screening, so we'll see if any of them lead to fucking good conversation. How long has the live been going? I haven't even checked. Almost 3 hours. Hey. Hey. Who's coming to Discord movie night on Fridays, guys, to watch Obsession? Who's coming? Who gonna be there? I'm gonna be there. Y'all know I love that movie Obsession. In order to get into the Discord, you have to either be subbed on Twitch or you have to be a member on YouTube. So like the easiest way is to be like a $2.99, a tier 1 member on YouTube that gets you into the Twitch. are into the Discord. And then you get all the fun stuff like our book club, group discussions. We are going to be doing a group discussion this month, and it's going to be on combating misogynoir. So we're going to all get together and discuss like best ways to combat misogynoir. Hopefully the black women of the Discord will join and some of them can relay some of their experiences. And then we should have our first guest lecture this month. I think it's going to be from Dalton. I don't remember what he said the lecture was going to be on, but we should have our first guest lecture this month. Always check jovanbradley.com for the calendar. Those things will all be on the calendar. So 219-327-8005. I promise not to yell again unless somebody pisses me off.
Let's yell at them. When they're stupid, they get yelled at.
Bro, I hate motherfuckers who are like, you don't let me speak while they're saying something that's completely irrelevant to the conversation. What do you mean by this word? Why would you ever ask what I mean by a word? It's a debate. Because clearly there's miscommunication and we want to know what you mean.
Yeah, like that's the whole point of like avoiding straw man arguments is to actually represent their actual argument. So you need to know what they're saying in order to represent their actual argument. It's just like how debate goes.
So true, so real. So real.
We got
quite a few people.
We got a few of them
away from the screen. Yeah, they're just being screened right now. On busy days like this, I'm always like, maybe I should have two screeners on. But then it gets not busy.
TikTok had that feature. That'd be nice. You'd screen like TikTok.
No, I pay a lot of money for this feature.
Yeah. Oh,
Dog.
There you go.
Don't listen to him, Carbon. We got to talk. Like, it is my wish that all of us move away from there and get over here.
Yeah.
Because this
Carbon
is
got to actually go live again for that.
Yeah, I haven't been live in 5 months. I'm actually going live this.
We'll get him over here. We'll get him over here. Because I was just telling Jovan, like, this is like night and day different from having people over there that, like, when they do the over talking, that's it.
Yeah.
The conversation's over. Like,
it's always been my goal is to get like just mainly do Twitch and YouTube, because TikTok is just I'm tired of saying unalive. I'm tired of saying grape. I'm tired of getting banned every fucking 2 minutes. I'm like, and then like,
yeah, it's real great not having to put up with any of that. But this is what I'm saying. This is why, guys, early on, I moved to YouTube. I moved to YouTube so early. And everyone's like, well, why come back on live on Twitch? I'm like, no, it's dookie. If Twitch gave me a stream key, I may simul stream over there, right? But I would I wouldn't take TikTok guests. They'd still need to pick that phone up and call the call-in line.
I'm with it.
Carbon, I subscribed for your channel the other day because I assumed you abandoned it. Yeah, I'll be back.
And you know what was great was Carbon was one of those people, because of where he lives, he would always go live like as I was getting off of live, so I never had to worry about like who do you watch, me or Carbon, because he goes live at like 2 a.m. for the rest of us. It was crazy. All right, let's bring up our next guest. All right, coming up to stream, we have EJ calling from Montana to talk about topic number 1, the God existing. EJ, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
I'm 31 years old, and my pronouns are they, them.
All right, great. Now, EJ, we are 3 black atheists who do not believe God is real. If you think God is real, do you have any evidence to prove it? And if so, what is that evidence?
Well, I don't believe that the Abrahamic Christian, Judeo-Christian God is real. If that's the only one you wanted to talk about, then
I'll tell you, there's over 2,000 gods. I don't believe in a single one of them.
Okay, so is it okay to go by definitions? Because on the one hand, like, I don't want to be like a perpetrator of the fallacy of definition, but like, I don't know how else to approach it.
I mean, God has multiple definitions, so it just depends on which one you're using.
I'm using Merriam-Webster's second definition.
Okay. Which is?
A god is a being or object that is worshipped as having more than natural attributes or powers.
Oh, yeah, I would disagree that any of those exist.
that you disagree that there are some physical beings and objects which are physically real that are worshipped as having more than natural attributes or powers?
I think there are physical objects that are worshipped. I don't think those physical objects have more than natural attributes or powers.
Oh yeah, I don't either. But I think they're still gods.
So this is the issue that you're running into, right? By this definition, you're saying because there are things that are worshipped and those things in the mode of worship have natural powers. Yeah, I would also say that those, like when somebody talks about the Christian God, I wouldn't say that that's not a god, right? The Christian God is clearly a god in the literature, but that doesn't make him real. That doesn't make those gods exist. It just means that this would be considered a god.
Yeah, I don't think the Christian God is real either. But even though, like, it's a fictional being in my mind, and so it's not like an actual physical being. But like, if there was like some uncontacted tribe, and they worshipped a person as like a deity, and I wouldn't tell them that their God doesn't exist. Like, because clearly, I mean, he's standing there, but like, even if they believe,
a representation of their God is standing there.
Yeah.
Like if I worshipped Anubis and I'm praying to Anubis isn't actually standing in front of me. I might be worshiping to a statue that represents the idea of Anubis, but there is no Anubis there.
Yeah.
You can
like, are you familiar with like cargo cults?
With what?
Cargo cults?
No.
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, it's kind of like there's this story of John From, and that's what they called him, but he was supposedly a World War II pilot that landed, I forget exactly where, but anyway, these people had never seen an airplane before, and so to them it was like magic. And so they thought that John from America was a god and worshipped him as such. But like,
I think we run into like
he didn't actually have more than natural attributes or powers.
You two are in charge. Continue the conversation.
Yeah, I think there's like a triviality problem, right? Like if I defined God as like my left foot, right? And then just be like, well, I think it's supernatural and I worship it. Of course, God exists, right? Because my left foot exists, and it's the fact that I worship it. It doesn't have to actually have supernatural powers. It doesn't have to actually be divine. All that's required for that definition to be real is both that I have a left foot and that I believe that it has supernatural powers, right? So it's just trivial that God would exist under that definition, right? But all you're saying is there's a left foot that somebody worships, right? But I think when in the prompt where it says convince us God is real, we're not just saying convince us there are physical objects that people treat as God. We're asking like whether there is the actual referent that's independent of human minds, whether those things exist, whether it be the Christian God or some other God in some uncontacted tribe, not just the fact that they're worshiping a thing that they believe that is God.
Okay. So I guess because I'm kind of, I called it a bad time just because it was an opportunistic decision, but like,
that's good.
I guess to conclude, I'll just ask something that's been bugging me, because I've gotten in arguments about this with other atheists, because I consider myself an atheist because I don't believe in any kind of like divinity, or like I don't believe any being or object actually has more than natural attributes or powers, even though that I believe beings and objects exist which are worshipped as such and thus are classified as gods and do exist. Anyway, fellow atheists have told me that I'm not an atheist because I know / believe that some gods exist, even though I don't worship them.
They might be confused.
Would you say I'm an atheist or a theist?
Yeah, I would say you're an atheist. The reason why I would say you're an atheist is because what it means to be an atheist is just to believe that mind independent of what humans are worshiping, there is a being out there that has these supernatural or divine qualities, right? That it has this creative capacity. You don't believe that that's true, that means you're an atheist. Now, I assume these atheists are calling you not an atheist because they think that when you say God, you're talking about what I just said, But when you say God, you mean something else. You mean, there's an
Lowercase
object. It's a
g.
physical. Yeah, lowercase g. There's a physical object, maybe a statue, maybe a monument that people attribute supernatural things to. But you don't believe those things are actually like real. So I would call you an atheist.
Well, I believe they're real, but I don't believe they're supernatural.
Well, no, you believe the objects are real, but you don't believe what people believe about the object. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I agree with, like, most atheists agree that, with that, I would think.
Also, don't worry about gatekeeping. Like, there's not an atheist club that you're not going to get into. Whatever your beliefs are, they're your beliefs. Like, if it's like if Carbon told me tomorrow that he actually did believe his left foot was God, I'm not going to think any different of him, except that, like, we probably share 99% of the same beliefs about the gods that we debate about. And so, like, there's no membership card for me to take away from Carbon, right? Like, so when people go, oh, you're not actually an atheist, and they're atheists, they're probably bad at being atheists. They're
Okay,
they're
that's what
looking
I've been
for,
kind of thinking, like, because just looking at the definitions of atheist, it can be defined as someone who subscribes to or advocates atheism, which can be described as godlessness in conduct. Like, even if you think that some gods physically exist, if your conduct is godless and you don't actually worship any gods, you're an atheist.
like, you could tell people you're an anti-theist, or like you could be like me and put up a fund like for a bounty on the head of any god, something like that.
Some people have tried to tell me that I'm an agnostic, and I'm like, no, because agnostics believe that the existence of gods or God cannot be knowable, and I don't believe that. I think the universe can be objectively knowable. And, like, I don't just believe some gods exist. I know some gods exist. So I think of myself as a Gnostic atheist, despite knowing some gods exist. And I don't know, I think that just triggers a lot of atheists.
Yeah, I mean,
but anywho,
it's all good. Like I said, the labels themselves are less important than the concepts that the labels track. So,
okay, cool. Thanks for talking with me.
Thanks for calling.
Have a good day.
Likewise. I know Jovan walked away, and actually, I'm not even sure if I can hear the person. Like, I can bring them up, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hear them if I bring them up.
You don't have the meeting.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose I can.
You give it a shot.
Let's yeah, so this one's gone. Let's bring this one up. All right, so coming up to the stream, I'm going to do my Jovan impression, is Jack. Jack is 46 from Maryland and wants to talk about topic 1. Jack, can you hear me?
Yes, hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. Can you give us your pronouns?
He, him.
Dope. And Jack wants to talk about topic 1. He says he knows God is real because of his own personal journey, or personal story, rather. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. Tell us about that. Before you do, and Carbon, I think you'll mirror this. I'm not particularly moved by personal stories. There's a thing, since we've done a little bit of philosophy today. There's a thing in philosophy that I give people called first person privilege, which is like whatever your experience is, I don't have access to it, so I can't doubt it. But it doesn't mean I have to draw the same conclusions you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the inference is important. So what we'll do is we'll grant that what the experiences that you
I
had
apologize.
is what you...
My phone's alarm is... Let me stop that. Sorry, I apologize.
You're good.
Sorry about that. It was my medication reminder. So I just want to be transparent with the three of you. Jeff, Jovan, and Carbon, I think is how you say the name. I hope you're all having a beautiful evening. I understand exactly where you're coming from, Jeff. And I just want to be transparent. Conversations for me are difficult. I have TBI and early stage dementia. So when I'm calling to you, I understand your philosophical viewpoint, right? I get that totally. I can't present evidence to you that you can't verify evidence. I get that. But what I'm going to share with you is only known by 5 people. So what I'm going to, if I can share with you, that is, because I know that I can't convince 3 people of such a heavy cost, right? I can't pay that cost for you 3 as individuals, right? But if it's permissible by the 3 of you, I would love just to convince your minds, even though they're surely said, I get it. But I would still it says convince us, so I would just like the opportunity.
Okay. So I think the best way to move forward with that then is just give us like a brief, maybe 10, 15-second overview of what your personal experience is. And then we'll ask you questions to follow up about it, just so we can understand, rather than, because, when people usually give their stories, it goes on and on and on and on. We don't want to have to go through all the details, but if they're, just give us like the core idea, this happened, and I think that's evidence for God. If you can do that, maybe within, 20, 30 seconds. And then if we have any extra information that we need, we should be able to ask you, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I will try to retain as much as what you said as possible, but I'm just trying to be forthright that if I repeat myself, it's not intentional. You can just politely, please just interrupt me and just put me back on course. I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right, go
but
for it.
I'm a very simple man, so I can make this very brief. And as your explanation was going, I was thinking of the song Ayo, sometimes you got to throw your hands up in the air. So I get what you were saying. So I'll make it very short.
Did y'all bring up a new person?
You're damn right.
Oh.
Guys, I have to press record. I have to start a new record. No, he can't. Only I can do it for my thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Well, we haven't started yet, so.
Okay, great. Who's the caller?
So we got Jack, 46, he, him, from Maryland.
Okay. Good Lord. What topic?
If you guys wouldn't mind bringing Jovan up to date for me, because I think you're better equipped, and then I can give you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So,
topic 1.
Topic 1, and he wants to give a brief overview of a personal experience that he infers is God. Is evidence of God. Yeah, go for it, Jack.
All right, so I'll just give you the bullet points to paraphrase it from what I can actually remember anyway, which is very short. I was in a marriage with my condition being mistreated, and God had reached through the ceiling of the home, a golden image, golden arm, golden hand, and pulled me out that bed. I wound up going to the hospital discovering this. I was pulled out of the home by APS, and I have been since remarried. And it's just night and day. And for me, I know exactly what that was. And I may not be able to convince you, in the way that you would want proper evidence. But what I can tell you as far as convincing you, I would just say this to you, that being convinced of something that is not real is indicative of something that is real that I can give you. So I can't pay that cost, like I said. But in just those paraphrases, I can just share that with you. And to you, it is whatever. And to me, I'm not offended by anything.
Okay. So just to be clear, like when you said the golden arms came from the ceiling, that's something that you visually experienced? Am I understanding that correctly?
100%. I must be honest with you. I've followed God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit my whole life. I will not lie about that. It's been my entire life. I'm not big in church. I'm more of a person that's just on my own accord. I follow the things in the way that they speak to me. I don't go for other charades, if you will.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess the inference here is that when you said that the golden arms came down, picked you up, and you got and what happened to you, right? You presupposed in the story that it was God, but what we're trying to figure out is why believe that that was God. Like, there has to be some step that you made from saying, from golden arms pulled me up to, or I experienced golden arms pulling me up to, God is like the best explanation, or it definitely is God. What's that missing piece there? How did you get to God from that experience?
The honest transparency and truth is I did it through prayer.
But you already believed that God exists here when this happened.
I believe God is real, but I can't pay the cost in convincing you. That I can't bear that cost.
I mean, like, prior to this happening, you already believe that God exists, right?
Absolutely. I'd followed him my whole life, and he's never let me down.
I understand. So it sounds like, I mean, this is just my take, and then I'll let they can jump in. It sounds like you had a prior commitment to God's existence, and then this thing that you perceive as supernatural, you associated with God because you already believe that he exists. Do you think it would be rational or reasonable for somebody who doesn't believe God exists, if that exact same experience happened to them? Do you think that they would be reasonable to infer God's existence?
I want to make sure I understand, because you talk really fast for me.
Sorry about that.
So basically, if somebody else experienced what I experienced, how would I view it?
No. If somebody else experienced what you experienced, and they were an atheist, they did not believe that God exists, do you think that it would be the most reasonable for them to infer that God exists?
I believe I would view it as to each individual's mind, right? So everybody in their own mind already has decided what they're decided. I can't change your perception. I can only convince you through my own personal story that I author. If that has no bearing on convincing you, I've not failed and I've not succeeded either, because my job isn't to convince you, like to convert you into a Christian, if you will. My job is just to say, look, I called into the show because my heart compelled me to call in, because I felt that I had something that tangibly is rare, and I would die. You could stand next to me with a gun to my head and swear to me that story that I gave you, and I'd say shoot me in the head. It's fine. Okay.
Well, I mean, the prompt is convince us God is real. So if you're not interested in that, I mean, but like what I'm trying to say is, like, as an atheist, right? If something like that if I were to actually, experience on my bed golden arms coming from the ceiling, I would just obviously, like, I think most people, but like me in particular, I would think that was like some sort of dream that I was having. I don't know why I would infer that God is real. And we're not asking you to force us to believe anything. We're just trying to find out what good reason somebody would have for believing that. So
I would say, for my belief in seeing the imagery where you can't make out a face, it's just a golden image. And I can tell you, I knew in my mind I had 3 days left to live. And I seen that image, and I got out the bed and I demanded to go to the hospital for no reason, just demanded to go to the hospital. And like I said, it's a heavy cost to pay to convince something is real. But I can tell you, it's never let me down. And to me, God has never let me down. To me, he's real. To you, he's not. And I'm accepting of that. I can completely agree, to disagree to any extent that's necessary. I just wanted to try to convince you, because it says convince us. So I guess through my story, I'm just trying to give you the perspective of the convincing that was on my heart, compelled to share with you. Because honestly, I seen the show, and it made me a little upset, because I care enough to share that with the three of you, to say, look, I get where your stance is, I get where you're coming from, but there's also a tidal wave of opposition where, I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to keep track of everything as best as possible. But I won't waste your guys' time, but I appreciate you, and I'm very thankful for the call and at least just the opportunity.
You the host here, Jeff.
Oh no, I didn't know if Carbon had anything else.
Oh no, I passed it on to you guys. Good.
All right. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. And like I said, when somebody comes up to me with their experience, I'm not going to deny their experience, but I'm not going to draw the same conclusion that they do. There's a lot of extra work that has to be done from you seeing something and it having that effect on you to that being something where I can say it's a consistent existence throughout reality. And then there's this concept called underdetermination, where if you have a conclusion that you've drawn and I come up with a different explanation for what you've seen, it doesn't mean my explanation is true, but I then have the job of taking, like exactly what Carbon said, like, could it have been a dream? Could it be something else? I take all the information I have in front of me and I'm going to come to a different conclusion. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So
that's why I
with
said
that,
it's a cost that I can't pay.
yeah, no, I get that. So me personally, I appreciate you you sharing the story and not expecting us to take the same leap that you did. But I think for the reasons that, like, specifically Carbon laid out, but also, like, I'm reiterating, you can understand why that's not something that is going to convince us on this show.
I absolutely understood that before calling.
Awesome. Well, if you have nothing else, I appreciate you, and we'll move on to the next caller.
Absolutely. And I just, if I may, Jovan, I actually do watch your stream. I am in your chat in your various debates. And I just want to share that I may not agree with everything, but I do support you and put bits in your channel. So I want the three of you just to have a beautiful evening and thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Jack. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
You too.
Oh, I was muted. I said thank you, but he didn't hear me.
You're a nice guy.
Shit. If you're listening now, I said thank you. How many calls we got? Oh, we only got one person left in the queue, and this looks to be a very who wants to take this one? Oh, Carbon might not even know the notes on this one.
What's the notes?
Here,
Hold on, Carbon. I'm gonna post them in.
Do your thing. Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Oh, heard. Okay, I'll bring the caller up. Coming up to stream, we have Thomas calling from New York. Thomas from New York, calling about topic number 1. God is real. Thomas, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Thomas, 60, and I am 60, and he, him.
Okay, Thomas, 60, he, him. Now, Thomas, we are 3 black atheists who do not believe in God. Do you believe in God? And if so, do you have evidence that God exists? And what is that evidence?
Yes. So indeed, I do believe in God. I have a philosophical, logical argument that I wanted to try. And there is there is a limitation to these arguments because they don't actually tell you, like, is Jesus God? They just say, there seems to be a God. There is is Jesus God? Jesus is God argument. But let me start with the first one. So the first, it's kind of a cool argument. So, okay, so I'll just go right into it. Causality cannot arise from non-causality. So, causality can be a chain, it can be a river, it can be a network. There's causes, they come to the next cause, they come to the next cause. So now, when you think about that non-causality cannot start causality, there's only one conclusion you can come to. Existence is eternal. There must have been something.
I would disagree with it. I would say that you'd have to substantiate that first premise.
Okay. So, well, let's I'll do the second one, but I don't see how it could be another way. So
Well, I
what
just
I-
want to be clear what
I
that
don't
means.
see-
Right? We're saying causality cannot arrive. What do you mean by non-causality? Things that aren't caused?
So, okay, so I do want to say I'm using causality as opposed to time, right? So in this universe, there is, we have time, and time is limited by the speed of light. That's why E equals mc squared. That's why it's a c, because it's actually the speed of causality. It's not actually the speed of light. So in this universe, causality changes at the speed of light. And that's what we call physical time, or that's the time of the universe. What I'm saying is that
if you don't mind, like when you say non-causality, do you just mean things that are not caused?
Okay, so by non-causality, I mean if you have something that is just that isn't changing, if you have something that has eternally not existed or has eternally never changed, has always been the same, there is no reason that it would give rise to a change.
Wait, I'm still stuck on this. The C in E equals mc squared stands for causality. It's just the speed of light in a vacuum. So I don't understand where you're getting causality out of this.
No, I'm pretty sure that Einstein picked C because it's the speed of causality, because the speed of light.
It's the speed of light specifically in a vacuum.
The reason. All right, you know what? Let's do this.
Also everything else.
Let's do this. Let's do this just so we don't get sloppy. Where did you hear that C is for causality?
Oh, where did I hear that? Oh, I probably can't. I mean, it's not actually terribly important to the argument, but I'm pretty sure that because why isn't it L instead of for the speed of light? But
So
the
I'm
thing
saying
is
that
that
it's used to represent celeritas, which is the Latin word for speed.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
okay.
saying.
Oh, well, okay, that's it. So it's the Latin word for speed, but it is it's actually the speed of everything. So
no,
everything.
No,
it's
not everything.
travels.
It's only the speed of light in a vacuum.
Well, so it ends up that
because speed is relative, so it's specifically the speed of light in a vacuum.
Yeah. So everything travels at the speed of light if it has no mass. I'm pretty sure. I mean, this is sort of getting off of this is sort of getting off of the real argument. But
what first premise is saying is that things that are eternal and unchanging cannot cause other things to become to be. That's all you're saying.
That's really
right?
That's really the primary point, and that's really right. If something is eternal, or something was unchanging or non-existing is unchanging for eternity. It cannot cause a change. And then the only possible conclusion is that there has been a chain of causality that goes back into the past forever.
Wait, but you still have a P1 that's unsubstantiated.
Why? I don't really follow why.
Because you haven't told us why it is that's the case. You're just saying this is the case, but you're not substantiating why it is the case.
Because not causality cannot cause causality.
Says who? Repeat the claim.
It's just restating the premise.
No, it isn't. It because it's saying causality can cause a change can cause a change. A change can cause a following change.
A change is a
change. But a lack of change, a system that does not have change in it, cannot cause a change.
Why not?
Why would it? It doesn't change. It's been.
I don't know why the burden of proof is being shifted to me.
Here's the simplest way to tackle this issue, right? Like when you have a premise like this, and I'm not even I'm pretty sure I could come up with scenarios where I have one system that doesn't change that still has like a causal effect on another system that is susceptible to change, but that's irrelevant. generally, when you have a
Well, no,
premise,
go ahead.
that,
Give me an example. Give me an example.
well, like if you could conceive of a ball that is eternal and doesn't change, right? And in some way interacts with something that can change while the ball. Well, no, the interaction isn't a change. The interaction would be a change to the other thing. It's literally not. It is if you're just assuming the uniformity of physics in the system that you're in compared to a system that you know nothing about, right? Like it doesn't have to be. But again, the easiest way to tackle an unsupported premise is to generate what we call a supplementary argument, where that premise is the conclusion, right? So if you have an argument that ends in the conclusion, therefore causality cannot arise from non-causality, or what was it
just the mover? What is it called? The mover? The something? Is this just that claim?
It sounds like it's going to the primary mover thing, and I'm hoping that we're not getting to like one of my least favorite things, which is to say like you can't go back forever. But what was how did you?
You can go back forever.
How did you rewrite the premise, Carvin?
Yeah. So premise one is just saying things that are eternal and things that are and unchanging cannot cause other things to come to be. That's an accurate representation of your first premise.
Things that are eternal and unchanging cannot cause
other things to come into existence, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Or cannot cause other things to change, or cannot cause other things to come into existence.
Cannot cause a change.
Cannot
cause a following change.
A following change. Okay. And then
I'm
just curious what the whole argument is. What was the next premise?
Okay. So the next part of it is in this universe we have the second law of thermodynamics, which is so I'm going to be a little rough, but roughly speaking, the system tends towards greater disorder. So if you had a universe that had existed forever, and the things tend towards greater disorder, we would already be at maximum disorder. Therefore, there must be an eternal source of order, and there is no source of order known to science.
I have a counter syllogism that takes your exact P1.
Okay.
P1, things are eternal and unchanging. Things that are eternal and unchanging cannot cause other things to change or come into existence. P2, God is eternal and unchanging. Conclusion, therefore, God cannot cause change.
Oh, so no, I totally disagree with. I absolutely disagree with God is unchanging.
Okay. We have another issue. Like, okay, so
I can tell you more.
I've said this. I've said this before on this show, and I've said it a lot in other places. Like, there are people out in the world that have spent time. They don't know the blood code, the Sega Genesis blood code to Mortal Kombat. They don't know how to do A B A C A B B. Right? The reason they don't know it is because while I was playing Mortal Kombat, they were in a book. Right? Those people do not know anything about Zach Morris. They've never heard of him. They've never oh, the expression, oh shit, here we go again. They don't know what that means. Right. They were studying. So I'm going to ask you a question. What is entropy?
What is entropy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So the second law of thermodynamics, entropy in a closed system always increases, and entropy is like
decreases.
disorder.
Decreases.
Always
what
increases.
is no? It decreases.
Entropy.
But what is?
Wait, did I
but
get
what
that
is?
right?
But what is entropy?
Entropy is a measure of disorder. Right? Am I getting that right? Entropy is a measure of disorder.
And they say disorder. So this is the issue, right? They tell you disorder, or they use the term chaos in high school to make it seem a little easier to understand. Entropy is just the ability of things within a system to exchange energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's why in a system, and so when you think about it that way, it becomes like almost intuitive that if you have a hot and a cold and you put them next to each other, they're going to reach some sort of energy equilibrium. They're going to reach the same temperature, right?
Right.
So the entropy decreases. That's not order. That's just an equilibrium of the ability to exchange energy between things. That's all it is. There's a math formula for it and everything.
Thermodynamic. Yeah, that's thermodynamic equilibrium. I mean, entropy. But I thought that there was some. Well, so the sun is going to run
and you can
out of fuel.
you can actually intuit this, that it's not chaos, because it's thermodynamics. It's heat. It's the movement of heat, right?
Well,
so that's what the law is about.
Yes. Right. So I mean, so yes, it is right. So when they first started entropy, it was that eventually energy moves to a useless form. Like, so energy, you have energy in an organized form, and you can use it to explode your.
It's not useless. Like, it's just that you can't transfer once it's equal. You're not transferring it anymore.
Well,
that's it.
That's useless. I mean, from my point of view, if I have fuel, I can do stuff with it, and if I have energy that's not in a form where I can do stuff with it, it's useless to me. So,
it's
useless.
The argument, I think I formalized the argument. First of all, it seems to be invalid. It seems like you're saying things that are eternal and unchanging cannot cause a following change. The second law of thermodynamics, systems tend towards disorder, increasing entropy over time. If the universe is eternal, we'd already be at maximum entropy. We're not at maximum entropy, therefore the universe is not eternal and unchanging.
So
because you're negating the consequent here.
Well,
so that would be you trying to.
So wait, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if you did put it another step in there. So I mean, you could say that. So if something is eternal and unchanging, it cannot cause a change. Since we are observing changes, the changes must exist eternally backwards. So that's actually important. I mean, that's actually what I first said, right? So I didn't say, right. So if you want to say that if I can, right. So what I'm trying to convince you is that there's an eternal chain of changes going back.
Are you affirming that there's an eternal change of changes?
Sorry, what?
Is that what you're affirming, or are you saying this is a consequent of that view? You think that there's an eternal chain of changes?
I'm saying that because non-change cannot cause change, and because we observe change, therefore there must be an eternal chain of changes going back.
Okay, why wouldn't somebody just say that the universe is an eternal changing thing?
Right. So you could say that. You could say that.
So one of the things I don't like about this argument, at least in terms of entropy, is it misses a few key things. One of them being, if it is the case that the universe had an infinite past and was infinitely expanding, that means that the possible entropy point would continue to grow with the universe. So the ceiling for entropy would rise equally as fast as the actual entropy climbs. So this doesn't take into account that. It also wouldn't take into account the nature of the entropy would come into play with the with just the start of our observable universe. We don't know what entropy was like pre-observable universe. We would only know what it's like in this current state.
Well, yes. So that is one of the things. There's well, I mean, so in a sense, at the end, all I'm saying is that there is an eternal source of order, and it is unknown by science.
Okay.
That's not the conclusion. When you say order, what do you mean by order? Like, what do you mean specifically?
By order, I mean the opposite of entropy. I'm just saying. I mean, yes.
That doesn't really. I mean, the opposite of entropy would just.
Entropy?
The opposite of disorder.
Yeah.
So
what? I still don't know what you mean by order.
What is it? A lower state of entropy. Is that right? If I get that right, a
So
lower
you just
state
mean
of
there is
entropy.
something that's decreasing entropy in the universe,
Yes. So
while also
there
affirming
must
that entropy
be
in the universe is
something
increasing.
in the universe that decreases entropy. At least for what? Yes, there must be something in the universe that decreases entropy, and it is unknown by science.
But wait, why? There doesn't
increasing.
need to be something in the universe that decreases entropy. And I've already countered that objection with if the universe is expanding at a consistent rate, then the ceiling of entropy would increase with it. Therefore, there would never be a need for it to decrease.
Okay, all right. So very good, very good. Expanding, but say the words. Do you know the words? the scientific words for that?
What?
All right, sorry. All right. Huh? You're supposed to say eternal inflation.
Well, I don't necessarily believe in eternal inflation. I believe that there will eventually be a heat death of the universe, but then we'll go back to the way the universe was pre our current universe.
Right, but then something has to order it.
Why?
See, yeah. I mean, no. I mean, you have to. Something has.
Why?
The heat death of the universe. That's total chaos. That's total disorder. Sorry, total disorder.
Yeah, I don't like the use of the word disorder in here because I think it's doing a lot of heavy lifting in the way that it's characterizing. It's sort of characterizing the mind. Does that make sense?
Well, okay. I mean, perhaps it's not like scientifically precise, but I mean, so how the stars are running out of fuel. What would be scientifically a precise way to say that?
The stars are running out of energy?
It's a general thing.
They're
running out of energy. The energy stays the same.
No, no, it doesn't because they're clearly broadcasting energy. But no,
what the
stars are doing, I don't even know if I would call it fuel. Is they're doing something called stellar nucleosynthesis. So they're smashing atoms together at a force to make atoms up until some people say iron. I'm not even sure, but like you start with hydrogen. I myself would like to have our sun run out of hydrogen so I can avoid conversations like this. But eventually we're going to run out of hydrogen, and then there's going to be a different stage, and all the water on Earth is going to boil at the same time, hopefully sooner than 5 billion years from now. But it's just a chemical reaction that when it runs its course will turn into another chemical reaction.
Well, yes, but the point is that eventually it stops doing stuff.
Everything eventually stops.
Well, okay.
Theoretically, everything eventually stops doing stuff.
I mean,
isn't that
do you
I don't think that's a part
just
of
to be clear, do you think when it stops doing stuff that's due to increases in entropy?
Yes.
Okay.
So in other words,
it follows then that there is not a thing that is outside the universe decreasing entropy if entropy is being increased, correct?
Wait, sorry, say that again.
So if we observe entropy being increased, then it's not being decreased, correct?
If we observe entropy being increased, then yes, it has not been decreased at that.
Yeah, but you're positing that entropy is being decreased. That's the conclusion of your argument, is that there is an eternal changing thing that's decreasing entropy, but you observe the exact opposite, which is increasing entropy. So it just contradicts the conclusion. But by the way, the conclusion doesn't even establish that God exists. It's just what you're trying to establish is that there's an eternal changing thing that decreases entropy.
Yes.
Yeah. So if this thing is efficacious in decreasing entropy, then why is entropy not decreasing?
It only when it acts, it will decrease entropy.
When does it act?
I don't know. it's undiscovered.
Well, how do you
There's
know that
nothing known
it's
to science that
decreasing
does
entropy?
this.
I don't understand. The argument that you're making, the inferences that you're making is, like I said, the argument's not valid, so it doesn't logically follow, right? So, but the inferences that you're making assumes that there's not a decrease in entropy. And then the conclusion is, therefore, there's a decrease in entropy.
Right. So what I'm saying is that we have never observed a decrease in entropy in a closed system, but by the logic of causality, there must be something that decreases entropy. Because existence must be eternal, there must be something that decreases entropy, and we have never seen it in this physical universe.
Okay. Again, we're not establishing that God exists here, right? So I'm not sure how you get from that to God, right? So even if I accepted all that reasoning before, which I don't, it doesn't follow that therefore God exists, right? You'd have to give maybe some other argument for that.
You don't think that there's an eternal source of order? I mean, okay, you want me to say it an eternal source?
No,
of
I'm saying that if there's an eternal source of order, that doesn't establish whether God exists, which is what you called in to argue for. God is a mind, an agent, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's consistent with atheism to say, if somebody just held the belief that there's an eternal changing order that decreases entropy. It doesn't have a mind. It doesn't have an agency. It doesn't care where you put your penis. Right? Right? That's atheism. Right?
Okay.
I agree that would be atheism. Okay, so why would we accept that this thing is a mind or an agent if it does exist, which I don't accept that it does. But let's just say that it exists. Why would we accept that it's a mind or an agent?
Yes. So all right. So that's about as far as I can go. I can't. That's actually the one real drawback to this that I can't see. It's like the first cause, right? So the first cause, how do you know that it cares about anything?
Yeah, the first cause doesn't establish God exists. It just it attempts to establish that there just is a thing that is the first cause. But like people just say, well, God is just the first cause. Well, that's consistent with atheism, right? So yeah, I mean, if you want to argue about like the universe being eternal and increases in entropy, like we can, right? But if the conclusion doesn't even establish that God exists, I'm not sure. Then the task of convince us God is real isn't being met.
Okay. Very good. All right. No, very good. I was just trying to. Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, I have other arguments, but that was the one that I wanted to talk about. So, and I would say it's probably the case. I really do hate the first cause argument. It really bothers me. This one I like better. I really would like to convince you that there is an eternal source of decreasing entropy.
Two quick things.
But
the first one, have you ever considered taking any of this and sending it to looking up like a department head in a university close to you for like the physics department, and usually, especially around now that school's letting out, they'll respond to you and give you info on where this is good and maybe not so good. So if you haven't done that, I would encourage you to do that. And the second thing is, are the other arguments better than this one?
Well, I mean, you want me to, I can do the classic argument. I can do the best argument. Well, I can do the best argument you'll ever
as long
hear.
as it concludes that God exists and what we mean by God.
That's what.
Agent,
well, no,
it's a line.
All right, so I will tell you the second. So sorry, I wanted to try that one first because I was sort of working on it, but I will just tell you the best argument. Nobody's ever going to give you a better argument than this for an atheist.
All right, so now
but this is the best argument.
Now you got my attention.
Okay, so are you familiar with the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Dead Sea Scrolls, I'll just summarize it because I was saying, right? So the Dead Sea Scrolls are, they are the Old Testament or the Jewish Bible. Well, not all of it, but a large portions of it. And they archaeologically, physically predate Jesus by over 100 years. I don't know the exact numbers, but there is a scroll of Isaiah that is older than Jesus. So now, right, so Isaiah was written way back when it was copied, but we have an actual copy that is older than Jesus.
Okay.
And
we
of
have a
course,
scroll of Isaiah that's older than Jesus.
Talking about Isaiah 45, right?
Here's what I'm going to grant
Right.
you. I'm going to grant you that the entire book of Isaiah, we have an original copy. Go ahead, P2.
All right. Okay. So now, the argument, and this is the biblical argument, is that in Isaiah and in other passages, there are prophecies of a Jewish Messiah. And if you take all the prophecies together, they point to a single individual in all of human history, and that person is Jesus.
Simon Barkova?
Because
this is just
yes,
FYI. This is part of my
specialty.
specialty. This is untrue because Jesus doesn't fulfill quite literally any of the prophecies in Isaiah.
And all right. So let me just finish the thing, and we'll talk about that. So
Sure.
right. So that's the classical argument is that all the prophecies about the Jewish Messiah point to one person is Jesus, and because only a God can prophesy, because this is at least a century before Jesus was born. Only a God can make prophecy, and because it uniquely identifies Jesus, Jesus speaks for this God.
I'll pause you for 1 second. Do you want me to tell you how that argument? I can grant everything, and I'm just going to say that argument begs the question.
Okay.
A God can't prophesy if it doesn't exist. So if you're telling me that only a God can do prophecy, it would have to exist to do prophecy. So you're assuming that conclusion in the argument. So you're literally begging the question.
Well,
it would be like if I was to say
he's doing like inference to best explanation, that given this data, the best explanation is God probably exists. Something like that.
But even then, even then, let's say I woke up tomorrow and I looked outside and I saw a blue and red streak in the sky, and I said that could only be Superman. Well, Clark Kent and Superman would have to exist for it to only be Superman. It couldn't be Superman if they don't exist, right?
Yeah, that's
so. Like, if you say there was a prophecy, like I can tell you, you know what? This is why I said it, because I had a feeling we were going here. I could say to you the entire book of Isaiah was found perfectly preserved, the original copy, and it said there will exist a man who was born in Bethlehem or Nazareth, named Jesus, and he will be born of a virgin named Mary. Isaiah doesn't say any of that, but it could say that. And then you can say, hey, the only thing that can do a prophecy is God. But you would be assuming that a God exists to even make that statement, right? Because if God doesn't exist, then he can't do any prophecy.
Well, how would it happen? I mean,
when you say how would it happen, you're literally committing a fallacy called incredulity.
No, wait. Just hold on a second. So, I mean, how could it possibly happen that you have how could you have an ironclad prophecy that happened?
I got you.
Hold on. We didn't. There was no ironclad prophecy. Jesus didn't fulfill a single one of the messianic prophecies as listed by Isaiah.
That's what you say.
That's not what I say. That's what the Bible says.
Listen, you're saying that here's the argument.
You go through word by word.
A basic modus ponens of your argument. Premise 1: if Isaiah truly predicts Jesus, then God probably exists. Premise 2: Isaiah truly predicts Jesus. Conclusion.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Conclusion. Therefore, God probably exists. Now, I think premise 1 and premise 2 are false, right? If it did truly predict Jesus, right, I don't see why that's expected under the God hypothesis, because that's what you're doing. You're making data, which is evidence is supposed to be what, if a hypothesis were true, like God's existence, would make the data more likely than not if it weren't true, right? So the hypothesis God exists doesn't predict that Isaiah would predict Jesus, right? So it's not even, I wouldn't even say it's evidence for God, right? But and then with Jovan, he's targeting premise 2, which is Isaiah does truly predict Jesus, and he's saying that that's false. So you have two highly contentious premises here for this argument. You're saying it's the best argument.
Okay. So I'm sort of not following you. So,
let me ask you. Hold on. Let me ask you this question. Does biological material exist?
Yes.
Can biological material evolve to where it thinks?
So I'm gonna say that in some ways I disagree with Christians about things. Yes.
Okay, great. Can that biological material that is thinking also create technological things?
Yes.
So those are 3 things that you and I agree on. I'm not introducing anything new, right? So we know those things exist.
Right, correct.
Now, the probability of any of those things creating Isaiah and making it match another event is higher, just by Occam's razor, than the probability of something that I don't know exists doing it. Right?
No.
So
no, it depends on the probability.
So we'll just go through it again. We'll just go through it again. The probability, because the prior probability of biological matter existing is 100%, right?
Yeah.
The probability of the biological matter that thinks is also 100%.
Yeah.
The probability of the prior probability of that biological matter that thinks creating technology is also 100%, because we know all of those things happen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the prior probability of a non-biological matter, ethereal, non-physical thing, entity?
What is the probability of there being a non-biological thing?
A thinking non-physical entity.
Okay. So let me just jump a little bit into faith. So if there is something outside of this universe, there is no experiment that can prove
let me right behind you,
the universe.
Thomas, right behind you, there's a dude that's holding a cue card, and on that cue card are the words "I don't know." That he's trying to tell you what your line is. So I'm going to ask the question again. What's the prior probability of there existing a non-physical thinking agent?
The probability. Based on.
So I'm going to remind you that the dude right now, he's shaking the cue card, Thomas. He's pointing at it.
I don't care.
I don't care. In SNL font. Because my next, whatever number you come up with, my next chess move is going to be, how did you come up with that number? You easily agreed with the 100% for the 3 I gave you, because we agree, those things exist.
Yeah.
But for the non-physical thing, do you experientially verified, sensely anything you want, they exist.
Yeah.
So
they exist. There's no question.
when it comes to a non-physical, but when it comes to a non-physical thing, what Carbon is saying is that that's contentious. You don't have any math to tell me what a you couldn't put a number on it and give me math to that, right?
Correct.
So then the answer is I don't know. That the dude with the cue card is right.
Oh, okay. So then
it's not 100%. That much we do know, right?
Experimental evidence, I guess. Based on experimental evidence. Well, I would still say
you have experimental evidence that shows that there's a thinking non-physical. Forget the prophecy. I'm just talking about our priors right now. Do you have experimental evidence that there exists a non? Hold on. You got to hear the whole thing, Thomas. Do you have experimental evidence or any evidence that can establish the prior probability that a non-physical thinking entity exists?
I do not have any experimental evidence that
Any
like
evidence.
physical experimental evidence that a non-physical
any evidence at all.
entity. No, I mean I have the prophecy evidence, but I don't have any.
The prophecy is what's in
experimental.
contention. Remember, hold on. The prophecy is not evidence of your claim, because if it says evidence of your claim, it's also evidence of my claim.
That's underdetermined.
What?
So listen, okay, do we understand?
So,
okay, you think Isaiah, you think if Isaiah truly predicted Jesus, right? That's evidence for God, correct? I'm understanding that correctly, right?
Correct.
Okay, now what,
yes.
do you agree with what I understand evidence to be? It's what's predicted on this hypothesis. You can expect it more likely than not, given some hypothesis being true. Do you agree with that?
That
let me give you an analogy. Like, okay, we're at a we're at like a crime scene. Okay, so we see dead body, we see blood, and then we see 2 bullet casings. Now, obviously, you and me are going to come to generally the same conclusion, that there was a shooting, but that's a hypothesis, right? It's very likely to be true.
Right.
But the reason why we make that a hypothesis is because when somebody shoots, we understand how a gun works. The bullet goes out the barrel and then the casing ejects, right? So that's expected. It's more likely if somebody shoots that we're going to see casing than if somebody didn't shoot, we wouldn't see casing. So when we see the evidence, right, that confirm. Okay, so why would I expect that if a God exists, then that God would want to predict Jesus, specifically in Isaiah? Why would I grant that? How does God's existence make that prediction in the same way that the gun makes the prediction of the casings?
Well, no, God's existence doesn't make the prediction that he would talk about Jesus.
Now ask
the
me.
prophecy about Jesus makes you think that there's a God.
Now ask me.
When you say it make, I got you. But when you say that it makes you think that there's a God, you're just saying that God predicts that data, because that's what we understood evidence to be, right? Listen, like if God had no desire whatsoever, right, to write Isaiah and predict Jesus or anything like that, or to divinely inspire Isaiah, would we expect this if he had no desire or will to do that?
I guess not. I mean, how would you not?
Right.
How would you?
Yeah.
No,
So it's just not.
I don't know.
Yeah. So just the mere existence of God doesn't say anything about his psychological attitudes or his desires or wills. So it doesn't actually. My view is that if God exists, it doesn't predict anything. It doesn't even predict that anything will exist. So what you're doing is you're not giving a hypothesis that God probably exists. You're giving a hypothesis that there is a God, and this God has a desire to, do this with Isaiah and Jesus. Now, when you add that conjunct of that motivation, you drastically lowered the probability of your hypothesis being true. Nonetheless, the prior probability of God existing itself, you said, well, now there's a God with this motivation, and I don't have any independent reason outside of the what I'm trying to explain why there would be such a God. So that's why premise 1 is just like, to me, it's just a Just So story. I could do this for anything, right? I can look at cheese and be like, well, listen, there's a God that is motivated to creating cheese, would explain the cheese. And look at that. Surprise, surprise, we have cheese, so therefore God exists, right? So like, I think what makes a good hypothesis
no, there's an alternative.
Having independent.
That's easy. There's an alternative for cheese. Cheese comes about by other processes.
Yeah, I agree. So we observe agents that are motivated, that are not God, that are motivated to creating cheese. Now, we also observe through all of human history, people get lucky sometimes, right? People get lucky when they say like exactly what Jeff was saying. Sometimes people say things, and then in the future, that thing just happens, right? And then sometimes we interpret that thing to be the thing. Now, I don't think Isaiah does predict Jesus, but I'm saying if it does predict Jesus, that's more expected, given the natural, not God world.
Yeah, like look, I could
let me
say,
go ahead. Let me
I know. Hold on.
I'm
gonna give you how this is how the evidence works, just to give you Carbon's example, and then I think Jovan will come into you because you wanted to talk about the prophecies themselves. But like, I have tons of prior evidence of people writing stuff down, and evidence of people writing stuff down and attributing it to the divine. Tons of it. And both before and after Isaiah, like tons of it. So if I was to come across a completed Isaiah scroll, my first instinct is, in the same way as the casings, I know people write things, right? And in the same way as if I was to look at the Hindu Vedas and say, hey, they got the age of the earth really, really close, but I just know people write things. And so out of 100,000 things that they say, they got one right. Dope. But people write things, right? And I know that they write things that
Right.
they attribute to the divine. So now in my hypothesis, I've already got that built in. People write things. You agree with me that people write things, obviously. People
they do.
attribute things through the divine. That's an agreement, right? We don't know if the divine exists.
Yeah.
But then comes
Well,
then comes where
okay.
Jovan is going to come in and tell you, hey, these, like, I guarantee you these prophecies are vague. Like Matt Groening would be a much better prophet
I would
than
disagree. I would
anything
strongly
written in
disagree with that.
Isaiah. Well, hold on. Matt
No,
Groening literally has very specific things in The Simpsons that are much more accurate than anything in Isaiah. Like you wouldn't like
yeah, I
the
would
fact
definitely
that
disagree with that.
no, hold on. The fact that Donald Trump was predicted to be president on The Simpsons is undeniable. That
Oh,
like
that's
that's
pretty
not
good.
like
Yeah.
that's not like, hey, that could be Donald Trump or that could be Steve Jobs. No, it was literally Donald Trump. There's no Isaiah 53 like, is it Israel or is it Jesus with that? That's spot on. Spot on.
Yeah,
Same
no,
thing
it's
with
pretty good.
Schwarzenegger.
It was
Same
cool. It
thing.
was cool.
Same thing with like you name the list of predictions. Like look up any YouTube video about it. But it's almost eerie. But I mean, if you want to talk about Isaiah with Jovan, that's cool. I don't think it even comes close to where I would be like, yo, that's a prophecy.
So the thing is, okay. So the thing is, yes, there are plenty of cases where people do prophecy, right? So. Right, Nostradamus did, and a leader will arise, and his name is like Himmler, and you're like, oh, Himmler is like Hitler. That is like the probability of that happening is way too high. And like the guy with like, I'm getting a P. Did you have a relative whose name began with a P? Those probabilities are way too high. Those are way too easy to guess.
Isaiah doesn't predict anything that actually happened.
Is the case. But Isaiah
doesn't predict anything that actually happens.
Their
predictions are vague.
Too
the very first
specific.
prediction. No, it's not. The very first prediction of Isaiah is that the prophet will be born of a young woman. That's it. That's it.
No.
And doesn't it mean has
so
conceived rather than will conceived?
That is quite literally
that is okay. That is not so.
Yes, it is.
If you want to look at that one, right? So the right. That's the one about the virgin, right?
Yes, but Isaiah never actually says virgin. Doesn't even use the word that Israelites use, or that Hebrew word for virgin.
So I can explain it to you if you let me.
You get so heated when I don't need you. Wait, Thomas, I need to. My fuse is short right now, and when someone goes, I can explain it to you. When I've already researched this thing,
totally saying
it
you're wrong
frustrates
because
the shit
I'm
out
saying
of me.
you're wrong, and you just don't want to listen. I mean, the explanation is easy. So.
Bro,
so yes,
do you speak Hebrew?
Do you speak Hebrew? Talking over me. Do you not want?
Do you speak Hebrew? Do you speak Hebrew?
Right?
Do you speak Hebrew? Do you speak Hebrew? Do you speak Hebrew?
No.
All right. So I don't care.
Right. So that's the thing. That's the problem. If you're an atheist and you don't want to listen to anything,
someone who doesn't speak
if you
Hebrew,
want to shut it down.
Do you speak Hebrew?
Right. So why are you talking about Hebrew? Why are you talking about
written in Hebrew?
And not
no reason. My bad. I'm sorry. I don't know why I brought up Hebrew.
I wonder if the book of Isaiah might have been written in Hebrew.
I'm sorry, Jovan. I derailed. I brought it up. I brought up Hebrew for I don't know why.
The persons in the New Testament, they did have access to Isaiah, correct? They were reading that, correct?
So actually,
like Jesus.
So do you?
So why would I not be sooner?
Here? Can I have a fair here? Do you want to shout me down so that you don't hear the evidence? I mean, is that your real goal? Is to shout Christians down so they don't allow?
I'll listen to the evidence, but I need you to answer me one question. What word does Isaiah 7:14 use to describe the woman that will give birth to the Messiah? What Hebrew word is used to describe that woman?
It's I don't know. I looked it up and right.
What are
so
we
you're
doing?
trying to
What are we
can I
doing?
just say the reason?
Can
I just say
no,
say it?
no.
Can I just
What
say it?
word is used to describe the woman?
What word in the Septuagint is used to
No,
describe
not
the
the
woman?
Septuagint.
You
Not the
answer me that.
Septuagint. The Septuagint is a Greek translation of the original Hebrew. I don't care what the Septuagint says. We're talking about the
Right.
original text.
Right. So the original text can be used to do a virgin or a young
Nope.
woman, but because that's the way that society worked back then. Young
Nope.
women were virgins.
Okay, so
So
let
it
me
can be
correct
both.
this. Let me correct this for
But
you. No, Hebrew
there
had a
were
no. I'm going to correct this.
scholars before
Stop,
Jesus
Thomas.
that
Stop, Thomas. Stop,
translated
Thomas.
the thing
Stop.
into
Stop.
No, you are not. You are interrupting me.
Stop.
You are interrupting
You're
me.
muted now. This isn't the Thomas show. I hate to break it to you. The word that is used in Isaiah in the original Hebrew is Alma. Alma refers to a young woman of marriageable age. They had a word for virgin. That word was Betula. Betula was the Hebrew word for virgin. That is the word that directly means virgin. It's Betula. You know what word they don't use? Is Betula. What we see is the translation in the Septuagint changes the Hebrew word for young woman into virgin, and they use the word in the Septuagint parthenos, which in the Greek means virgin, but the original Hebrew does not. I'm sorry, no matter what way you slice it, they did not specify that Mary would be a virgin. It was not specified. And you can try to make any justification you want, but if they were going to say that Mary was specific, that the Messiah was going to be a virgin, they would have used the word Betula. But they didn't. You'll hear a beep, that's you being unmuted. Please respect the fact that it's my show. So if I ask you to stop talking, stop talking. Now you can speak.
What?
I said now you can speak.
Oh, okay. Okay. So right. So that is so that is the case. It's the Septuagint, they translated virgin. And so scholars back before Jesus, though the Jewish scholars thought it was virgin when they translated it to the Septuagint. But the word is ambiguous. It isn't particularly virgin. But also, do you remember what does the verse say around right there? What do the words say right around there? Right,
Homie,
is a sign, right?
Homie, I just want to point out here, I don't care what the translation people did. I care what the original text was, right? If I have an original text that states a prophecy and it says the sun will turn hot pink, and then I, decades later, translate that into a new language and go, well, I think the original text, even though they said hot pink, I think what they meant was blue. So I'm going to translate this to blue. That doesn't change what the original text meant, which is Alma, which just means a young woman of marriageable age. Now, it was typically the case that a young woman of marriageable age was a virgin, but you know what else they oftentimes weren't? Not virgins. Because it's just about the age you were at the time. It typically, what it's going to more accurately refer to is a young woman who has just flowered, someone who has just gone through puberty. That's what it's more going to refer to. And even if we take this, right, a young woman of marriageable age, right, you are implying the text to mean virgin because the Septuagint says this. The Septuagint is just a translation because most people at the time couldn't speak Hebrew. They spoke Greek.
Mm-hmm.
What's the earliest copy of Isaiah 7:14?
Is there a word for
what is the earliest copy of Isaiah 7:14 that we have in the Septuagint? In the Septuagint.
Oh, I don't know. Is it in the Dead Sea Scrolls? I don't know.
The Dead Sea Scrolls are not the Septuagint. You want to appeal to the Septuagint. What is the earliest copy that we have of Isaiah 7:14 in the Septuagint?
Oh, they're not in the Dead Sea Scrolls? No, then I don't know. I don't know.
No, I'm not asking about the Dead Sea. I'm not asking about the Dead Sea Scrolls. I'm asking about the Septuagint. You want to appeal to the word Parthenos in the Septuagint, and you want to say that it was before Jesus. What is the earliest copy of Isaiah 7:14 that we have from the Septuagint?
The earliest physical copy of the Septuagint. No, I don't know.
As opposed to the earliest digital copy?
No. Do you know?
Yeah.
I mean, just go ahead, tell me.
AD. It's in 325 AD. CE. It's from the Codex Vaticanus. Was that before or after Jesus?
What is the context of the verse?
We'll just ask again.
Around the,
was that before? Was that before or after Jesus?
That was after. Yes.
Okay. So Isaiah 7 is a prophecy to whom?
Can you read the words around that? Isaiah 7.
Again, the Lord spoke to Ahaz. Who's Ahaz?
No, I don't know. It's
You don't know who Ahaz is?
I have to look at
Best argument for God.
Do you just read verse 14 and call it a day?
No, go ahead. Just read it. Just read around. Just go ahead.
Listen to my question, because so far, up until we got to this point, we were having a good conversation, but now I'm getting irritated. Do you just read Isaiah? I don't want you to respond to that. Do you just read Isaiah 7:14 and call it a day?
No.
Okay. Who is
I didn't
Ahaz?
really use that. I mean,
Who is Ahaz?
Oh, I don't remember who he is.
Okay, so in Isaiah 7:10, it says, again, the Lord spoke to Ahaz. That's 4 verses before 7:14. And we don't know who Ahaz is. That's how we're going to remember this conversation.
Okay.
I think I'm at my.
Like, I don't even want to read the rest. Like, what are we doing?
I think I'm at my limit. Thomas, thank you for calling in. It's been almost an hour.
Oh yeah, it's been okay. Well, okay. Okay, very good. Very good. I mean, so yes, so there are a lot of other verses that I would talk about, but they all would require a lot of detail, and each one would take a long time.
Like who Ahaz is?
No, we could talk about how we could talk about. Well, hold on. We could talk about how in Isaiah the prophecy is that there will be a suffering servant, but Isaiah expressly, right? Christians say, well, that suffering servant was Jesus, but actually Isaiah expressly refers to Israel itself. The entire nation of Israel is the servant. They say this specifically in Isaiah 41:8. You, Israel, my servant. We can talk about the young woman versus virgin thing. We did that. We could talk about the fact that when he talks to Ahaz, he says that the birth that is so important would happen would be a meaningful sign to Ahaz. But Ahaz dies is dead 700 years before Jesus. So it can't be a meaningful birth to Ahaz because he's dead. I just can't do it. But Thomas, thank you for calling in. We're gonna. It's been an hour. That's the call.
Brody said details.
Now, I just want to remind everybody that, I mean, he said he had other verses, but by definition, those would be worse arguments than the one he just gave. That was the best argument for God.
It's always the Betula.
That was the best one.
That was the best one. So whatever verse he had would have been worse than that.
What killed me was it was like I was already irritated because of the back and forth and like the whatever, but after saying, yo, the chapter that we're reading, I don't know nothing about it. But, the rest of them, it was almost, and that's the part. It was the idea that, like, you're giving me this thing of I have other verses, but you wouldn't understand. It requires
I hate when he's like
study.
Well, let me explain it to you. Like, I don't talk about this shit daily.
Yeah, they hear these from like apologists, and they don't really dig deep, and they assume you probably don't know much about it.
That call, you wanna know what's crazy about that call? That call would have been so much better with both Blitz and Dalton, because Dalton is literally fluent in the traditional Hebrew. Like, when it summed his shit up.
Dr. Joshua Bowen on this.
I'm gonna tell you something. Sometimes I hate it when these chuds talk to Blitz, because it's like you don't know the high school version of this, and you're gonna talk to somebody with an advanced degree in the shit. Same
what's
thing
so
with like
funny when they talk to Blitz though is his just sheer look of confusion, because the things they say, like he's like, entropy doesn't decrease in a closed system. That's not true. That's like literally an untrue statement. We see entropy decrease in a closed system all the time. But I don't know the science enough to be able to argue it. Like, I don't know the science enough to explain it, I guess is the way I want to say.
I think my thing is, forget, and I'm not a physicist, so I'm with you. I don't know it enough to explain it either. But I know they know it less than we do. So like the little bit that I know, they know less than that. And then they're sitting here like, hey, sit down here, son. Let me explain you how entropy and chaos and the infinity stones, and then all of a sudden there's a whirlwind of how did Earth come about? How Earth came about?
My favorite is when they spend an enormous amount of time studying like the details of like physics, and they know all the like numbers, but they still can't make the inference to God. I'm like, okay, you got all that. Why does God exist?
Well, we're going to cook it here. It's been almost about a 4-hour stream. Jeff and Carbon, you want to tell people where they can follow you guys?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Endofaspecies.com. Endofaspecies.com is everything about me. I'm actually going to follow in my brother Jovan's footsteps. So if you go there and join the Discord, you'll know where I'm at, because I'm going to start doing the call-in show thing.
I have single-handedly revitalized Jeff's need to debate.
I literally told Jovan, you put a battery in my back. I want to do more of this. More. Bring me the Kadunka Chuds.
The Kadunka Chuds is crazy. Where are they following you, Carbon?
So Carbon says, that's Carbon with the K, says, that's on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. I haven't been streaming in a few months, but that's just IRL stuff. But I'm getting back to streaming in July, so you guys can go drop a follow me on over there. That's Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Carbon says, Karbon says.
All right, chat. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. I'm not going to raid anybody tonight because I'm just like too tired. So that's going to be the end of the stream. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. If you want to see me tomorrow, it'll be 2 times tomorrow. 1 in the morning, like 11 o'clock. And then The Line has a podcast. It'll be the first Jovan/Jimmy episode of that. That's 9 p.m. EST. Will be the first Jovan Jimmy episode of The Line has a podcast. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Remember, Friday is movie night in the Discord. We're watching Obsession, 7 p.m. EST. JovanBradley.com to find our source documents. Maybe I'll work with Jeff and Carbon on expanding the God is not real section with philosophy stuff. You guys be real. Have a good one. Love you. Mean it. Bye. Thank you all for watching this video. If you don't know me, I'm Jovan Bradley. Why does it do that? Who does debates, political commentary, gaming, and more. If this is your first video,
it shouldn't be the version with my audio, but it's always the version with my audio. Why does it keep doing that?
Helps me create as much as I can.
Whatever.
Consider joining. A membership starts at $2.99 and gets you access to early video drops, our community Minecraft server, and our community Discord, where we host roundtable discussions, guest lectures from creators of all kinds, and our monthly book club. Shout out to my Tier 4 members who go above and beyond to help keep my content as accessible and regular as it currently is. They're on the screen now. Your support goes a long way in helping me to continue the fight for equity, justice, and education. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay educated. Unless you's a bitch.